Right. That makes sense. Okay.
Have we
Wow,
started
you
now?
have perfect timing. And actually,
Yes.
you know what? I can think of a few people in here that are probably mad that that wasn't part of the stream, but I don't know. That was new for me.
So we're live now.
Yeah.
We are not.
You
We are
guys are
now
just
live.
this
Yes.
is I've noticed
We're-
this just from watching a
We're
bunch
very
of your
casual.
guys' show that they just start.
Yeah.
And actually, this is kind of part and parcel with our show too, because we're always talking about like, hey, I saw X, Y, or Z, and yeah, the guests will just like go into their thing, and I'll just be like, oh crap, and Doc will be like, we're supposed to
no.
be live.
That,
And
Look
that's
at
I'm
the
like,
time.
that's why
yeah, but we're
I do
talking
that.
about something that's not really part of the show, but it's interesting, and people would probably like to hear about it.
Yeah.
Probably.
But
But
hi,
they should
everyone.
all
Welcome
just
to
be
Bad
in the
Science
show.
Sunday, where we love to take a comedic approach to debunking science misinformation on the internet. Today, we are doing it's pseudoscience, pseudo religion, more. Yeah, misconceptions with the Essenes that we're going to be doing today. And Dr. Kip is going to speak truth to power. He's going to let us know how close Richard Carrier is to the truth based on the IRL beliefs of the Essenes.
Richard Carrier, by the way, does not even feature in the video.
No.
But he's going to feature
But
a
he
lot in our
could.
video.
I bet he could though, right?
Yep.
He
You
wouldn't,
tell
I
us.
mean, it wouldn't be, yeah. That, yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what your thoughts are on it.
This is all new. I have seen nothing.
You've seen nothing.
I'm coming in cold. It's so this will be good.
So Dr. Kip, welcome back. I know you were on vacation for all of August, right?
Well, not really. I mean, I was gone for parts of August, but I did come back occasionally, and I did do a couple things in August too. No, that was September. But I did do a couple of things in August. You can check my channel. There's some things there. So, but it's fall is here, and now I'm not going anywhere.
Yay!
I did. Lots has been happening though. My youngest son has moved back home and into the basement suite, which is nice. But this is good. Yes. So that's how I help to pay for my house. But the good news, the really, really good news, I mean, it's nice to have him here, but now he has vacated
rent?
his that too. That is also very good news. But he has vacated his bedroom. So I am here now.
Nice. Oh my God, you got an office.
It's pretty cool, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and
I'm excited.
I've got wrong one here. So I've got room to put on display my prior 165 all-terrain vehicle, which was the fastest snowboard that I own. It's super old now, so I don't ride it. And then my current favorite, the Nirvana 160, which is that's a bamboo board. It's made out of bamboo.
Bamboo is awesome.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the next one beside it is my first snowboard. That's my
very first one ever. You still
my
have
very
it?
first one ever. Yeah.
Interesting.
So my Powder Stick 155 Freestyle that I purchased. How old am I? 34 years ago. Wild stuff, eh?
Wow.
So that's fun,
so
right?
Like when you were born, you purchased that snowboard.
Yes, I just came out of the womb,
just grabbed
clutching the powder stick. It was that's how it happened. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be in my own space. It's because it's upstairs though. it's hotter up here.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, my office is
and you've got
upstairs too.
lights and monitors, and it gets
Yeah,
pretty warm.
yeah.
But I'll be okay. I've got a fan, so
They come in handy.
so we'll
They come in
manage. They
handy.
do. They do.
So before we
And
move on, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, I just wanted to say I had a great day today
Okay.
because I after being away all of August, I got back and was writing again today for the first time in weeks, which is great. And I wrote today all about the suppression of the goddess Asherah in ancient Israelite
Oh,
religion,
I love her.
and what a bunch of is it are we 5 minutes in? We're over 5 minutes in yet, so I can say
YouTube's never making any money, and I mean giving me any money, and
okay.
I'm of the opinion of fuck that shit.
All
So
right, so
I don't want to be stifled like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't
nice.
need 17 cents that badly. I make so much more money timing out, blessed be he. And I just rather have fun like that
This
than,
is
not
how the
say
queen
fuck
of the
all the
goddesses rolls,
just saying.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This
We
is
rock
how
out with our
Asherah
cock out
gets
over
things
here.
done. You
Exactly.
bet.
Don't tempt me,
So
Maya.
you know what
All
what
right.
Jeremiah
Or with their tits
called
out, whatever.
Asherah. You know what Jeremiah called Asherah?
Whoa.
He called Asherah Malakat Hashemayim, which means the queen of the
High Mekahini
sky.
Ho?
That's
The
what I
queen
heard.
of the sky.
Queen of the
Yeah.
Sky.
Malakat Hashemayim.
Maleka
Queen
Okay.
of the sky.
Maya. Oh, you're right. And if you shorten that, you get Maya. Yeah. Queen of the
Holy
Sky.
crap! Queen of the sky. There you go.
Goddess.
So
See, she's my spirit animal. I love her so much. Swear I was Asher in another life.
It's pretty great. So
okay, real quick though, because like a lot's been going on, and we're totally going to get back to you because the chat would hate me if I did not. King of the Earth, left-handed Jedi, gifting us 10 cult members, which
wow.
yeah,
Weasel Cult?
Jedi's fucking awesome. I don't know what else to say about that. Those went to Convenient Estelle, Karen Butcher, Mahalia Laga, Northern Chimp, Daryl Frost, Antjer, Hill Hugger, David Denuno, Mark Reed, and Ryan Donovan. So, yeah, way to go, Jedi. The goat. And then there's a bunch of super chats around here. Oh, and I'm jumping around. But Lawrence, oh my God, thank you so much. So giving me back my $5. So earlier today, well, okay, first of all, I don't know who this Dr. Kip guy is. That sounds like a lie. Um, but I don't like his attitude.
Oh, he gave you $5. So
And you guys have got to go over to Milwaukee Atheist. They approved a flat Earth earlier today. It was an hour and a half of like probably the most thorough video I've ever seen on the biblical flat Earth. And now I'm Blooper. So Lawrence, thank you for that.
It's a 90-minute mic drop. So
It really is. It really is. I I had to super chat. I'm like, you could tell like it was quality. You could tell like the time and the effort that went into that. And he was like, this is 2 years, and like tears were streaming down his face. I'm like, you guys, Crystal, I don't know if you go over to Milwaukee Atheist and like throw it in the chat, like please, like Lawrence, like that deserves like all the views in the world. That like the quality in that really came through. And I'm sorry,
I
did
hope
you
Mike
see it?
Winger sees it. I haven't watched it all the way through yet, but I did. I got an advanced copy of the script to proof, so I know it. But
I gotta say, So there was a big, awesome flat Earth oriented stream earlier today that nobody told me about, and I feel very sad because you guys know I am about two things in this YouTube life. Okay, I am about three things. Okay, my cult, being anti-magnet, and approving a flat Earth, or at least interacting with flat Earth. And so, I feel left out, chat, and you too.
I really needed you to
I don't know what
watch the video earlier to approve the stream, so I was more focused on that. But I'll hopefully Crystal's put it in the chat. I'm hoping we will get it to you because it was. I think everybody should watch. Everybody. All right, so Porpoise actually.
Wow.
I can't find it in here. She's a member for 3 months. So I do want to say welcome back to the fold. Mwahaha. Please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your vaginas, and your nitties. And for $2, the sinister porpoise says, did the Dead Sea Scrolls mention computers? That's a question for you, Dr. Kip.
Aphakiria mechanism, something. I don't know what it's.
Or what's the name of the object that they found off the coast of Troy? Is that the Akiria mechanism?
It's that one.
It's so it totally proves. I listened to a podcast 2 weeks ago that said that it totally proves that Atlantis was real.
I mean, okay, if you want to come back and react to that podcast, we would be totally on board.
Oh, you guys, you seriously should check it. I'll answer. So, no,
we've done.
There are no computers. There are no computers in the Dead Sea Scrolls. They were far too insular for that kind of nonsense. So,
well, then how do the aliens correspond with them if they didn't have computers?
It was just direct.
Oh, yeah, the download. I mean, you know about the downloads. See, this is going to be a great stream. He already knows.
The people who wrote and collected the Dead Sea Scrolls literally worshipped in the celestial temple alongside of the angels in the presence of God. So, but I do have to say, though, before I forget, you guys should check out this batshit crazy podcast called Haunted Cosmos.
Haunted Cosmos.
That sounds
amazing.
Huge.
Wait a minute. How do I not know about this? How do you know about this and I do not know about this?
Does Vandy know about this? Have you heard about this? Oh, okay. Oh, how do I know about this?
Well, now we must do a thing next week.
This is okay. This is what Haunted Cosmos is. Mm-hmm. All right. It's all the conspiracies. So Bigfoot, aliens, Atlantis. I said aliens already, didn't I? Fairies, giants.
I love this.
Angels, demons.
Oh, this is way better than
Hollow Earth.
Yes. Hollow Earth is the one conspiracy theory that's more absurd than flat Earth.
So, but it's all the conspiracies.
We've done several, yeah.
This is the first part. The second part is it's all the conspiracies, as reported by a couple of weird, bearded, Christian nationalist theology bros.
Ooh,
like it's strange and kind of amazing. So
I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued. We're gonna have to do one of these.
So
when's the next time Bree is on? Oh, we have to do this.
One more thing about it. So and if you ever do, I feel like I need to insist. If you ever decide to do a Haunted Cosmos thing, I expect an invitation for making you aware of this gem. But they are so big. Do you guys have a Patreon?
No.
No. So they have a Patreon, as many creators, as one does, right?
Yeah.
Their Patreon ranks in the top 700 worldwide.
They're in the 700 club.
I mean, how many? Yeah. I mean, how many Patreons are there out there? There's probably like 500,000
or more. I'd say millions.
or more.
Yeah.
The top 700.
That's pretty good.
That's huge.
That's crazy.
So, I wonder if the top one.
Yeah. Who the top Patreon is?
Yeah.
Are you looking it up?
No, I'm not.
I don't know. It's probably like PewDiePie or some shit.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's Myth Vision.
It should be. It really should be.
Derek deserves
Derek doesn't even know I'm alive.
He doesn't know you're alive. What?
I just found out today that what do you call it? Lawrence does from Milwaukee Atheist and Atheist Edge knows I'm alive. So, which was totally cool. And Chris from the Daily Atheist morning show knows I'm alive. So it's been a good day.
Yes. Good day. All right.
Moving forward. So Left-Handed Jedi for $20. I'm telling you, Jedi is freaking amazing. Where are your Jedis? I want to see a bunch of fucking Jedis in the chat. All hail Jedi. Anyways, says $20 for the swear jar. I couldn't in good conscience.
So we can just let it off the hook then, eh? For the rest of this fucking show.
Yeah, we can.
Money at me.
All right.
And Jester Lord of Fools has, if I can find it. I wish like the streaming platforms would do the same thing that YouTube does, like where you could, like the fan funding. It'd be so much easier than just like having to scroll through and find everything. But $2, annoying tax paid. Yeah, it's me. I'm annoying. Sorry. I'm playing. Thank you, Jester. We love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right. So now that we got all the money out of the way, and thank you, everybody. Welcome to Cult Members.
Not all the money.
Well, blessed be He is still here. And, it's just a matter of time before she starts getting to the point that they start throwing dollars at us to.
Well, she already got
to time her out.
Time her out, yeah.
And if you are ever low on funds, find an annoying pet troll, and just mercilessly torture your audience with them to the point where they're like begging you with like stone cold cash to ban them from your chat. It's really lucrative.
So lucrative.
I mean, yeah. All right.
So, Dr. T, would you like to let Dr. K know what we have in store for him?
Oh, I'm excited.
It's going to be another one of those nights where the term doc is unspecific, isn't it? Anyway, so we are looking at the ubiquitous channel Gaia, which actually has way fewer subscribers, only 1.69 million subscribers. Not nearly as many as I would have thought from a channel like Gaia.
Are they the ones who produce those like super slick commercials that I see on my YouTube feed?
Most likely. If you're thinking like they're like the YouTube of pseudoscience bullshit.
Yeah. Excellent. I mean, like if you look over here, I don't know what this is, but they have like a show that I can try for free, which presumably means that if I want season 2, I have to pay for
Ascension.
You can pay to have your pseudoscience bullshit just mainlined into your veins.
And like I already pay for YouTube Premium. I'm not paying for Gaia. Okay. But they've got enough. Yeah, exactly. They got 1.7 million subs, and they have 150,000 views.
On this, yeah, on this video. So, Blessed be He says that Dead Sea Scrolls is not canon and no one cares. That actually
That's a
sounds
What?
not
that's a
all.
silly statement. So it's,
So
I
before we
mean,
get started, they're going to tell
yeah.
us what the Dead Sea Scrolls are. But if we can
Oh,
maybe start with, so who are you? What do you do? What are you known for? Like, let people know why you're here. Why
okay.
we have you here talking about this.
I'm Kip Davis, and I'm a biblical scholar and a specialist in early Jewish literature and the Dead Sea Scrolls. I wrote my PhD dissertation on the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I did postdoc work
Wait, hold
at
on. Hold,
two different universities in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
you wrote them on the Dead Sea Scrolls?
That's
How could you
badass.
how could you deface ancient artifacts by writing your thesis on the scrolls? What is wrong with you?
hey, when you have a PhD, they let you do it.
That's
So
so this is a fact. Yeah, I mean, they give it to
so
anybody. They'll give it to weasels
it's
nowadays.
just yes, and squirrels. So
Yeah.
it's um I sorry. I was going to say something else and now I totally forgot, but that's fine. So is
Oh,
that enough? Is that enough? Oh, no, this is what I was going to say.
they're not
Um
canon. Was the
they're not, but then again, the canon doesn't matter. Like, come on. What the hell is that? And pick one already. There's like 4 or 5 depending on who you're talking to, right? So, and they're all super late. I'm interested in the originals. I'm interested in the super old shit. The oldest manuscripts of anything from the Bible that we have from the canon comes from the Dead Sea Scrolls.
and
You got a couple.
all of those are Old Testament, right?
Yep. But include stuff too that are in other canons, like for example, the Book of Jubilees and the Book of Enoch are both part of the Ethiopic canon, and
Hmm.
both of those are texts that we found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, written in, well, no, Jubilees is Hebrew. The Book of Enoch was written in Aramaic. The Book of Ben Sira, which we know from the Catholic canon, as well as the Book of Tobit, were also discovered in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So, and the Samaritans, who are, there are still Samaritans out there. There's very few. Still people worshiping Yahweh on Mount Gerizim, who believe that they were the chosen people from Abraham. They have their own canon, which is the first 5 books of Moses, also known as the Samaritan Pentateuch, and we found copies of, their special version of the Pentateuch, also in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So the Dead Sea Scrolls, it's like uh it's like all the canons,
Right.
right? They're
Right.
all uh
Yeah, and I mean, and what is and isn't canon does change depending on the period too, right?
and that's super late,
And the
right? Like,
person.
you don't, at the time in which the Dead Sea Scrolls were written, nobody was having this conversation. Just, there was nobody said, well, these books are in and these books are out. They were all just books.
Hmm.
They liked some a lot, and they liked some, almost as much. And there were other Jewish communities who also had their own favorites. So it's not a conversation that
Right.
anybody was having back then. This is all stuff that happened much later, and was largely um, uh, prompted by the Christians.
Hmm.
I tend to think the rabbinic Jews, after the destruction of the temple, and then after the expulsion of the Jews from Jerusalem in 135, after these cataclysmic events, were more pressured into this, setting setting aside and making some firmer statements regarding which texts they regarded as quote unquote scripture. So it's all the Christians' fault.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to make sure that we clear up all the
Clear that up
misconceptions today.
And now, are we now going to find out what Gaia says the Dead Sea Scrolls are?
Indeed.
Okay.
Let's do it. I've already bumped it up to 1.25 for the record. Because, yeah, look at the time.
Because it's 30 minutes.
That's ambitious, but
I know about this. I have discovered that I recently, I guess that was that last week, I tried to do like a 30-minute video on a live. It took me 3.5 hours. So and Derek was with me.
Yeah.
And the poor guy had to
leave. Out. Yeah. That was a good stream though.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
I'm not going to say who you were taking down, but very thorough.
That's okay. Thank you.
So
I've come to discover that a manageable video for me to review is like under 9 minutes.
So. We actually yeah, same. Ideally like 12 is good for us, but we got to the point where there's so many videos that are longer. We're just like, you know what?
You gotta
let's go as long as we go, and
yeah,
at least we had fun. Let's go.
I'm William Henry, and this is Ascension Keepers. About 200 to 300 years before the Christian era, a remarkable mystical movement arose. The core ideas of this movement came from Alexandria, Egypt, but it spread to Palestine, where these mystics set up shop, so to speak. In Egypt, these mystics were called the Therapeutae, the healers. They were known for their flowing white robe.
Is there supposed to be something happening?
Do you not see it?
I see nothing. Sorry.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
You don't see the
video?
No.
That's bad.
No, I just see the black.
Oh, that's not good.
I'm sorry, guys.
No,
let's see if what do I like? I guess we'll do this and then use this up. See.
Do you see?
Can you see now?
I see a weasel.
They established an embassy outside the.
Could you hear that?
And it's like, no, I don't have.
What?
Oh boy.
Am I on?
That's not good.
This is.
Hey, chat, are you hearing? Okay, so people are saying we see the video. Guys, can you hear the video?
Just me?
Yeah.
Guys, can you hear the video? Chat.
Is there settings? Share screen. Is there something I need to do here?
There shouldn't be.
After
you're on
testing
the
our computer, we've
wow.
a slight burden on its performance. Oh dear, I feel bad. Wow.
That's interesting.
So, because I saw your. Wow.
It probably is my fault, Tsunami.
It's an offstage feeds.
But it's not off stage.
Someone says it's on my end.
It must
be. If I'm the only one who doesn't see anything, I'm. Do you want
to go out and come back in?
Yeah, sure. Let's try that. How do I leave?
Refresh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do that.
Oh my god, that is horrible.
Yeah. Okay. So if we can't get this to work, what is our backup plan? Switch to StreamYard, or I can try and share it via Discord or something, and then share that.
I think I see something now.
Okay, see if you can
maybe
play and see if he hears it.
Oh, whoops, that's the wrong thing.
The walls of Alexandria on the shores of Alexandria, Egypt.
Okay.
All right.
We'll just go with it.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Real quick, because I do like to see the comments. See if you can hear it now.
200 to 300 years before the Christian era, a remarkable mystical movement arose.
All right.
The core ideas of this movement came from Alexandria.
So he knows.
Yeah.
The level of
So
bullshit we're in.
it's we're ascending, you guys, and we're gonna keep ascending.
Keepers.
Okay.
About 200 to 300 years before the Christian era,
I don't know why.
a remarkable mystical movement arose. The core ideas of this movement came from Alexandria, Egypt, but it spread to Palestine, where these mystics set up shop, so to speak. In Egypt, these mystics were called the therapeutae, the healers.
Yes, of course.
They were known for their flowing white robes. They established an embassy outside the walls of Alexandria on the shores of Lake Mareotis near Alexandria. In Palestine, they were called Essenes and Nazarites, or Nazarenes.
No, they weren't called Nazarenes or Nazarites. So that's a totally different thing.
Those are all different groups, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So yeah, the Nazarenes were
People from Nazareth.
No, they weren't that either. But they I guess you could call them, and we actually don't know a lot about them, and I'm not even sure. I have to go back and look, but offhand, I'm not even sure how active Nazarenes were in the Second Temple period. This is a term that we see in texts that are quite a bit earlier, right? So, oh wow! Now I'm just sorry. I just looked on the screen. He says that Nazarenes means watchers. What the hell?
Well, they were watching.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna look this up, see what this means. Because I don't know offhand. No, not Judges 11. But we can continue.
Okay.
Meaning watchers, because they were watching for a high celestial being they believed was soon to visit Earth. Although they were primarily, but not exclusively Jewish, the Essenes were master weavers of Egyptian,
they were primarily, but not exclusively Jewish?
How does he know that?
My understanding is that they were only Jewish. Am I wrong?
They were pretty fanatical about being Jewish.
Didn't they leave because they didn't like how they thought everybody else was being not Jewish enough?
Yeah. Totally, right? So the Essenes, now there's questions with regards to because there seems to be some overlap between elements of ritual and practice among the therapeutae in Egypt and some of the things that you see in the Dead Sea Scrolls of the Essenes and descriptions of the Essenes by Philo and Josephus. It's kind of an open question. The relationship between these two groups is not like a hard, fast thing. It's a possibility, but it's not something that anyone has really been able to establish with any kind of confidence. So this group, though, that wrote and collected the Dead Sea Scrolls, as near as we can tell, came out of the Jerusalem temple establishment. These were members of the priesthood who became very dissatisfied with how the priests were priesting. One of the strong features that you see, and this happened. This happened at a time right around, the early to mid 2nd century BCE, when the Hasmonean kingdom emerged, and this was the first independent Jewish kingdom since long before the destruction of Jerusalem. And it was run by by a priestly family, essentially, in the beginning. And they started to kind of fuse these offices between the king and the priest over time. And this is something that the Essenes, the writers and the collectors of the Dead Sea Scrolls, were very, very upset about. They absolutely hated. They saw this as a total abomination and a corruption of the offices, that you would try and fuse the Davidic the Davidic throne with the priestly mantle of Aaron. So that's one of the strong features that you find in the Dead Sea Scrolls, is this elevation of the priests, but doing priest things, and the king always kind of being subservient to the priest, but always separate. Within their eschatology, the writers and the collectors of the Dead Sea Scrolls believed that there would come, in the last days. We've all heard of this figure called the Messiah, right? This anointed, maybe celestial, probably human figure who is going to come back and restore the kingdom of David, the kingdom of Israel, and kill all the Romans, and everything was going to be great then. The Essenes believed that there was going to be two messiahs. There was going to be a king, the Messiah, the son of David, and there was going to be a priest, the Messiah, the son of Aaron. So this is one of the things that they were really fixated on, was this separation of powers between the priesthood and
So the
and
king
the
to do the
throne.
thing that the Messiah was supposed to do, and then a priest that was going to restore
Right alongside him. Yeah.
that was going to restore the worshiping back to normal.
Yes.
Or okay.
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
they were all about restoring the proper order of Judaism, which meant, a restoration of the priesthood, which would then, usher in this new kingdom, complete with a new king. So yeah, all that to say, no, they were Jews. they were
they were
they were very, very
super
Jewish.
Jews. Gotcha.
They were super Jews.
Like we're telling other Jews, you're not Jewing right. Like,
You're not.
Right.
In fact, in the when they talk about, because in their eschatology, they believe that in the last days God's going to come back and just kill everyone who is bad. And for them, this included all the Jews who weren't Jewing properly. So you had to be part of the super Jews.
You had to Jew it right.
So really quick, I am missing. I have no idea where it went. I've been looking for Sinister Purpose's super chat, but she does say $2 from the Sinister Purpose. Kip got the scrolls from Mark Hoffman.
From Mark, I don't know who that is. Shoot.
I was hoping you would know who that was.
I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
And in proper Canadian fashion, but thank you, Sinister Purpose.
Can I say something about this chat from Honeymoon Stitch?
I was hoping you would.
Okay, they didn't just live at Qumran. Philo and Josephus both tell us of Essene communities, all over the place. And there's still an open question as to what exactly the settlement at Qumran was. Was this, it wasn't the place where all the Essenes came. So what was it? Was it like a special kind of a monastery where the most dedicated of the Essenes came to live and to wait for the end of the world? Was it a retreat center where you came and spent a period of time, in worship and contemplation and expectation for the last days? We don't know. But I mean, this is the Essenes certainly did live at Qumran, but they lived all over the place.
So Porpoise says Mark Hoffman is a forger who sold letters he claimed to be written by Joseph Smith involving
that guy. Oh, okay, I know.
He murdered. God, he murdered people to cover his tracks. Holy crap!
That's the one
fine, upstanding guy.
By the way, Murder Among the Mormons, fantastic 3-part miniseries on Netflix. It's bonkers.
It's very good. It is.
Okay,
it's awesome.
Titan wants to know if they were from space. Questions that need answers.
The Essenes? No, mostly from Jerusalem. So and it's, I mean, Jerusalem's weird. It's a little bit like being in outer space. So okay. I assume, I've never been to space, but I assume it's just like Jerusalem.
All right.
Oh God. Just because I'm nice. blessed be he, is an evangelical Christian. She's my petrol. She wants to
She's
know if
my petrol.
the scrolls talk about the light and life within us all and how to purify ourselves.
She likes you.
And Dr. Kip earlier today just announced to the world that I am the queen of the skies, and thereby the purifier of the light within you all. And you need to purify yourself with the light from within me to you, and all you have to do is accept it. And maybe then Crystal will stop banning your messages from the chat.
You should all say Malakat Hashemayim, Queen of the Skies.
I'm gonna like capture that. It's gonna be my phone, my like, what do you call it? My ringer, my ringtone.
Your ringtone.
Just you Queen saying that.
All right, let's find out about the master weavers here.
Let's do it.
Primarily, but not exclusively Jewish, the Essenes were master weavers of Egyptian, Iranian, Greek, and Tibetan Ascension practices. In fact, for 3 centuries, beginning in 300 BC, the forerunners of this mystic tribe.
Sorry, I meant to. I missed.
Yeah, Dr. Kip is like
Tibetan, Egyptian, Iranian, and Jewish mystic practices.
Yeah, he did say that.
Weavers of these practices. I mean, this is one of the problems of studying and researching ancient religions, right?
Or
and
anything, honestly.
I guess so. Or anything, honestly. This is something that comes up a lot, and people love to do this. They love to look for these common features that you see in a variety of different religions and attempt to connect them all. And you have to be able to demonstrate these relationships through some sort of like, almost like you would through a genealogy, right? And if you can't do it, like, lots of times it just seems like there are elements of religion which just characterize large groups. You're seeing what's the expression? Shoot. A correlation does not equal causation. That's a famous science thing, right? You're a scientist,
sure.
aren't you, Weasel?
Yeah.
So
it's not just science. I mean, it's fundamental, like, human reasoning and conclusion.
Yes. Indeed.
So you see all sorts of these correlations, and sometimes you have to squint pretty hard to see them. But the fact of the matter remains that within the actual texts that we have, there is not any way to discern a connection between, what was going on at Qumran and whatever was happening in Egypt, and certainly not Iran or Tibet. No.
What would the term? So I don't know. Actually, this is a more general question. When I hear the term Iran and Tibet, those seem like very contemporary terms, but maybe Egypt is as well, because English didn't even exist back then, and we're all speaking it. So, but I don't know if Iranian sort of culture and whatnot is very distinct from Persian.
So no, I think that's probably that. It's probably when I think of Iranian, I tend to think of predominantly Persian, right?
Okay, so yeah.
And I think to be fair, there are elements of Jewish religion that postdate, the religions of ancient Israel as written about in much of the Bible. There's something to be said here with regards to the influence that Zoroastrianism did have on some elements of the development of Judaism through, and this came through their encounters with Persians in, the 5th, 4th century BCE. But again, like this is just this is just a sort of loose, diluted cross-pollination that tends to occur in all sorts of cultures. So there's nothing especially Iranian or Egyptian or definitely not Tibetan in Jewish religion or in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So quickly, for $2, Joester Lord of Fools says Qumran was the all-inclusive resort, spa, and Euro shop.
Yeah, you could take a bath and get your sheepskin turned into a manuscript, and you could probably buy some pottery while you're at it too.
All right, let's go.
I've been following the way of the Magi, researching and merging Babylonian, Egyptian, Iranian, Pythagorean, and Buddhist alchemical philosophies and ascension practices that feature humans opening holes in space and ascending into heaven.
So, do we have wormhole technology coming out of the fusion of the Babylonian, Pythagorean, Iranian nexus?
So he thinks this stuff happens like in real life, right? Like that people open holes into space, and yeah, that's what I'm getting here.
All you have to do is go to a magnetic X point, and even NASA says that opens a portal to the sun. Okay,
shut up. Wow. So I bet though the people that lived at Qumran probably didn't have magnets though. You would have liked them, Vandy.
So, yeah, I would. Yeah, they sound very reasonable, down to earth.
No, actually, no, they were not. But they, So I mean, remember
no, they weren't.
Said that they were, yeah, they were a little uptight.
Sad.
But remember how I said that they believed that they would ascend into the celestial temple and worship alongside the angels. Maybe that's what he's talking about. But I think it's important to point out that just because they believed that they were doing this, it doesn't mean that they were actually doing this. Right?
So are you saying that they're the type of people that if they were around today, they would make a website like Heaven's Gate did, and then like eventually all just kind of opt out, let's say, to get picked up by
actually they were maybe not so much the I mean, what would the Branch Davidians look like if the FBI hadn't leveled their compound back in the 1980s?
Less carbonized.
Yes, but I think that's probably, in terms of a modern analog, maybe the Branch Davidians are the best one when thinking sense. About the Essenes, right? Yeah. They are literally living out in the backwater of East Texas, minding their own business and getting ready for the apocalypse.
So my understanding is that there was a lot of kind of weird criminal sex stuff that was also going on.
Yeah, so maybe not so much that stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Among the Qumranites either, but yeah, not
like
not
they seem
that.
like a bunch of prudes mostly, but I don't know.
They kind of do. But yeah, the Essenes definitely. But they're the kind of prudes who are smiling and nodding as you're talking, and they look like they're agreeing with you, and they're really, they're not really in your face or vocal about it. But in the back of their head, they're going, "This guy's totally gonna get crushed in the apocalypse."
All right, let's go.
In my opinion, they would heavily influence the Essenes and early Christianity. From these teachings, they began writing about translating humans into angels, opening gateways to heaven, and the emergence of a new, improved child of light who would win
Oh
a
my
war
God.
over the sons of darkness and
So so we talked about this at the beginning, about how much of this we can translate into Richard Carrier's theory of Christian origins. And I don't know. I'm not even, I don't know what to do with this so much that maybe that's the best thing to do here is try and, I mean, it's a new improved child of light.
new, improved child of light who would win a war over the sons of darkness and inaugurate
a new era of
light. A new era of light. Yeah. So I mean, that's one of the things that is prevalent throughout the Dead Sea Scrolls. They do identify themselves as the sons of light.
Okay.
And they distinguish
are they the Illuminati?
Ooh.
Right?
The OGs, man. They're
Right.
the OG Illuminati. That's that's essentially what it means.
Right?
Isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they've sharply distinguished themselves from the sons of darkness. So they've got
Who were the sons of darkness?
Everyone else.
Oh, of course.
it's just if you're not, there's a famous text in the Dead Sea Scrolls called the Community Rule, and in one part of the Community Rule, it is a sermon called the Treatise on the Two Spirits, which basically argues that every person has within them, from the time that they're conceived, either a spirit of light and truth or a spirit of darkness and lies, and that you can't change who you are. If you're a child of darkness, you were born a child of darkness, and you'll always be a child of darkness. If you're
so were the original Calvinists.
Yes, they were. And they had this is the way that they this idea of light being representative of the truth and and righteousness, I guess, is something that you can pick up through a lot of their literature. But I don't, inaugurate a new era of light. I mean, I guess they didn't call it that, though. They called it the king.
They might say what they call it.
Oh, let's see.
Let's let them cook.
Okay.
Improved child of light who would win a war over the sons of darkness and inaugurate a new era of light.
No, he didn't
calling
say
themselves
it. So,
the perfect ones, or
perfect ones, or the way of perfection. They actually, I mean, in terms of self-identification, sons of light. Another term that they used for themselves was the Hasidim, which better translated means something. Means something like enlightened ones or wise ones. This is a term that also appears in the Book of Daniel. These are the these are the
Illuminati. They're the Illuminati. I'm sorry.
Sure, they're the Illuminati. Let's go with that. But it's
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say this thing about the child of light who would win the war over the sons of darkness. There's no child of light in the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's just not. One of the problems with the scrolls is that they are really highly fragmentary.
Mm-hmm.
We have little bits and pieces of what were once complete manuscripts, but we don't have a lot of complete copies. So you'll get fragments of information from fragments of material, and there are certainly ways in which you can weave these fragments of information into a narrative of your choosing. And this is something that that people have been doing ever since the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered. This is essentially what someone like Richard Carrier does with the Dead Sea Scrolls in order to propagate his idea of a dying, rising son of God
near the moon.
Yeah. So the point is that you can squint really hard and think you see some of this stuff in fragmentary bits of the text, but you can't. It doesn't tend to work when you do the hard work of unpacking the syntax and the language of these fragments and trying to locate them within this amalgam of Jewish religion and culture. There was something else I wanted to say there, and now I forgot. So, oh, can we start over? Sure.
No.
Yeah, $2 from you, hooligan. Sorry I'm late. Can you start over? We actually
Yes.
anticipated that you were going to come, and we started all the way over. So if you can see here, we went all the way back to minute 2:11 just for you.
We
Yeah.
were
Just for
almost
you.
finished. Almost finished the whole video.
You know,
But here we are.
it was an epic speed reading of all the BS in here.
Yes.
And I mean, it was just a lot of nodding. And it's like, yeah, children of light, you know, Illuminati savior. Yeah, it's nothing to debunk here. And it was so good that we decided to start from the beginning. You know, just
I
to make
remembered
sure
what I
that we
was
didn't
gonna
miss
say.
anything.
Can I say what I was going to say? Because I think this is really important.
Yeah.
So the scrolls were discovered in the 1940s and the early 1950s. And then they were controlled by a small group of scholars who were supposed to be publishing them over this time. And the publication was really, really slow. And people got very frustrated. This, you know, up until 1987, there were only 7 volumes of a 40-volume set of Dead Sea Scrolls that had been published. So that, you know, over the course of 25 years or 35 years, they only managed to publish just a tiny fraction. And people were getting very frustrated. So in the 1990s, a number of things transpired where pressure was put on the group who controlled the material to basically release it to the general public, and to very, very eager and excited scholars who have been waiting for many years just to see this stuff. And what happened with the onslaught of new material that was suddenly available is scholars started to read this literature through the, you know, the lenses that they already had in place for understanding early Judaism. And by and large, most of those lenses were Christian lenses.
Mm-hmm.
So the early stuff from like the 1990s and up into the early 2000s, if you read the scholarly literature on the Dead Sea Scrolls, a lot of this stuff sounds very Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And you get these, they're excited about seeing lots of the overlaps between what's in the scrolls and what's in the New Testament, and those, they're there, like those are legitimate. But then they started reading Christian ideas back into the Dead Sea Scrolls inappropriately, and we've been in the process of a major corrective of this over the course of like the last 20 years. So, but I think that's where a lot of this comes from, right? Mm-hmm. Is looking at loosely Christian ideas, son of God, you know, perfection to the way of light, this kind of stuff, and reading it backwards. And it's way more complicated than that.
Right. And oh God, I feel so bad. Thylacaleon says nobody except Dapper Dinosaur says his name right.
I'm gonna say Thylacaleon.
He's not a linguist.
You're saying, would it be Calvinist, like in the sense that it's predestined, especially by God?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that's what.
So this is kind of the idea, is that that God controls the cosmos and time from the beginning to the very end. He sees the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end, and he's laid out human history into this elaborate plan. And the people who wrote and collected the scrolls believed that they were just on the brink, right at the end of this timeline, and the last days, when the culmination of God's plan was finally going to be revealed. So, but yeah, it's all him.
Oh, and then sorry, this really quickly. Hmm?
I said this better not be about magnets.
No. It was a question for Dr. Kip.
Oh,
Hmm?
no, sorry, go ahead. Did it disappear?
Oh, yeah. Actually,
Was
maybe I got the wrong. I said Dr. Kip could answer it. Look, the chat is confused, and we are here to provide answers.
He's got a magnet. Maybe. I don't know. Sinister Purpose. How does I just saw this. How do I feel about magnets? Um I can dig them. I think they run things, don't they? Like, there's like magnets in my monitor and my computer and my microphone. Isn't that true? I mean, don't they run things? Don't we kind of use them like all the time?
For $5, Vesper says there's some ascension descension beliefs associated with mountains like Mount Carmel, where the Essenes were said to have lived, and
Pythagoras visit.
Pythagoras visited.
Okay. I'm unfamiliar with that.
Same.
Yeah. So Carmel. Sorry, I don't know anything.
I don't
about
forgive
that.
you. Oh, no, that's not what you were even apologizing for. Okay, well, yeah, I see how it is.
So
The way of perfection or perfect light humans. They seek to lead a revolution in human evolution that would result in the appearance of a new type of human and a different human experience in our world.
wow.
We will use this word perfect as a sort of
A golden needle. The word
golden
perfect
needle
is the
to weave a
golden
thread
needle.
through various ascension traditions. The word perfect means to become more whole, more holy, more complete, and cosmic.
So, like,
According to
I mean, what do all those words mean? Holy,
Well, that's why
complete,
you're here.
cosmic.
Cosmic means in relation to the cosmos nowadays. I don't know if it meant that back then.
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything especially cosmic about what the writers and the collectors of the Dead Sea Scrolls were saying. I mean, they're all pretty much just about, keeping ritually pure and getting ready for the brutal elimination of their enemies.
The brutal
So
elimination of their enemies. I'm sorry. It just, yeah. So for $5, Jester, Lord of Fools says Maya is secretly the goddess of magnets, but we're not allowed to tell the weasel. He, I'm the queen of all the goddesses. So to write my title. Yeah. It's Asherah. She's my spirit animal. We're gonna. Mm. Wow. What the hell is this? I was today years old. I can guess which one was what is that? That's the restoration? Okay. No way. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, people are saying they can only hear me? That is hilarious. Instead of the other way, they can only hear me. I love it though. Oh, wait, can you guys see Kip now? This is kinda crazy. It might be. I don't know what's going on now. Because 'cause I'm looking at so I can see Kip and I can see Dr. T, but they can't hear or see either of you, which is I might need to, because nope. That's crazy. Okay. He said he's gonna refresh and come back in. We're gonna see if we can see Dr. T. I'm gonna see if, like, maybe me switching of my browsers is because right now I'm in Chrome. I know. Well, I'm in Chrome right now, and so normally I do, my thing out of, Microsoft Edge. I thought Chrome would be better because they suggest that we do this out of Chrome.
I'm back. They see
Okay, I
me.
see you.
I don't know
Um,
if they hear
can you
me.
guys see Dr. T now?
Can they hear me?
You
They
see
can probably
Vandy.
hear me if they can.
Alright, Dr. Kip, we might I guess, 'cause, they see Dr. T now. Um,
Can
so
they hear me?
Vandy, I'm gonna need you to reload the
The thing?
video,
I'm
and we're gonna see
like,
if we can see the
I did
video.
it as fast as I could, Miles.
Okay, I
Was
can
that
see the
fast enough?
video now. Hit play, let's see if they can hear the video. Hit play for, like, 2
Or
seconds.
radiates light like
Alright,
a
now
rain.
I know how long.
Can you guys?
okay,
Yes, I can
I
hear you.
see you. Okay, they can see you. Can you hear Dr.
Can
Kip?
they? Can
We
you
now
guys
see
hear
Kip,
me?
we hear him.
I'm. Can you hear me? Can you
Okay,
guys
I
hear
he's
me?
I
back.
think so.
Alright, we're gonna stay
He's
in this
back
mode
on.
for the rest of the stream.
Okay.
Alright.
I
Pardon
think it
for
was.
the
Holy crap.
interruption.
I think it
That
was
was
when I was
fun.
switching the tabs. It
Oh,
got Evie messed up.
so can I
Professional
just
streamers.
before you continue, can I just say something about when he talks about this tradition within Jewish mysticism?
Mhm.
He's talking about a tradition that is over 1,000 years removed from the time of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So this is medieval stuff, right? Like this is stuff from 1,000 AD.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
but like,
this is not how historians work.
but everybody knows that way back when, everybody like kept extremely detailed records about their
Very good
genealogy and everything, right?
records, yes, and everything
Yeah.
was copied perfectly. And Do you want me to answer this?
Would you mind?
I have a stream about this.
Then I can't think of anyone better to answer it then.
Okay. Do we have a concept of a dying Messiah in the Dead Sea Scrolls based on Isaiah 53? No. What we have in the Dead Sea Scrolls with regards to Isaiah 53 is very little. It's a text that doesn't seem to have provided much reflection for the writers and the collectors of the Dead Sea Scrolls. They barely ever mention it or allude to it or draw imagery from it. And when they do, they apply it to just the general suffering of righteous people, or to how hard done by their leader, the teacher of righteousness, was. And in terms of a dying Messiah in the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's no good evidence of that either. The best you can do is a fragmentary text called the Melchizedek Scroll 11Q13, which provides an interpretation of Daniel chapter of a text from Daniel chapter 9, either verse 25 or 26. Verse 25 mentions an anointed one. The word anointed one in Hebrew is Mashiach. But within this text and among the writers and the collectors of the Dead Sea Scrolls, very often they just interpreted this word and translated this word as anointed one without the messianic implications. So it first mentions an anointed one, a prince, and then it provides a temporal interpretation that when this prince arises, then, you know, the end of time will happen. Another possibility, because it's fragmentary and we don't know what's there, another less likely possibility because of the space issue. When it comes to reconstructing fragmentary texts, you have limitations on just how much you can squeeze into your what we call the lacunae. So the other possibility would be the Messiah who is cut off, or the anointed one who's cut off, from Daniel chapter 9, verse 26. Speaking of the death of an anointed one, historically, this is Onias III. He was a priest in the temple who was murdered by his brother in, I think, 182, 183 BCE. So anyways, those are the possibilities, but the text is fragmentary, and far and away the best option is the former one. And it doesn't seem clear to me that you even interpret this text in light of the Messiah, right? Mm-hmm. And there's no mention of Isaiah 53 there at all. So short answer to that is no. The long answer was what I just blurted out, the word salad that I just concocted. And the even longer answer,
we've covered word salad on this channel. That was not word salad. Okay.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
The even longer answer is the 3.5 hour stream that I did on my channel last week. So.
Oh, that was just last week.
I think so. Or was it 2 weeks ago now? I don't know.
So that raised a couple of questions with me. I guess the one that I'm going to ask right now is, when did we actually attach numbers to the various verses? Like, when did that happen and become standardized?
Oh, that's pretty late. Like, that's even that's so much later than anything that I deal with.
Is it after the printing press? Or is it not that late?
I don't even know. Like, I mean, it's so late that I'm not even sure. Yeah, like I honestly, I have no idea, but it's really late.
All right.
Left-handed Jedi wants to know if Inanna is the original Diana Rising goddess.
It looked like he was asking you. But are you asking me?
I think he's
or is he
I think
tagging you to
I
ask
don't know who
me?
Inanna is.
No, they're trying to highlight so that I see their questions. Because I don't, I mean, I try to look at the chat, but it's hard for me to read every single thing in the chat, plus keep up with the stream. So I do ask them if there's something that they want to know to highlight, because I do catch those.
Yeah, so Inanna was an Egyptian goddess, I believe, and I don't know very much at all about Egyptian religion. Just a tiny little bit. My specialization's pretty narrow. So when it comes to questions about like really elements of Greek religion or Roman religion or Egyptian religion, I don't know a lot.
They're saying she
You
was
know.
Sumerian, but I think Nana, wasn't
Oh
she the one
wait,
who
I
took
thought
off her magic jewelry and went into hell to retrieve
The Silmarils?
somebody?
I don't even know.
Okay. All right,
It's
we don't
yeah.
know. And I'm not going to pretend like I know. So, I don't know. Maybe with the I didn't think I'd be doing 1,000 sub stream this year, but maybe
Yo, we have
you get some
stacks to
followers
send it.
back for that one. Isis, they're saying Isis was Egyptian.
That's it.
And I
Yeah,
could be
and
confusing Isis with Inanna. But
yes,
moving on.
that's
We'll
what I
we'll
was
talk
doing.
about this because Dr. Kip
All
does
right,
know about the
scroll
stuff
stuff.
that's going on here.
Yeah.
Rainbow. The Essenes believed our purpose and goal in life was to return to our original divine state and recover our garments of light.
Is that what they believe?
Recover our garments of light?
No.
Was that like a Mormon thing?
It kind of sounds Mormon, doesn't it? So the thought is that they wore white garments based on the description. Like one of the things that we have in the Dead Sea Scrolls are a collection of rule texts and community constitutions. So stuff written out about how people are to conduct themselves living in this community, right? And based on it doesn't say you have to wear white garments, but based on a lot of the way that it describes the people's usage of clothing and stuff, that the understanding is that they probably had this sense that you wore light colored garments. They don't spend much of any time reflecting on like becoming divine beings. I'm not even sure how that works
Very
within
careful.
their they were they were a bunch of weirdos, right? Who thought that they were hanging out with angels. But on the other hand, they had a pretty tangible sense that at the end of the world they were still going to be, people living on Earth. Like it again, I think what's happening here is what I mentioned earlier, where people have this tendency to read like these later Christian ideas about separating the spirit from the body in like some sort of cosmic sense, and they're reading that back onto these texts, which tend to be much more grounded in the sense that their expectation was for a very natural apocalypse.
What do you mean?
Like
volcanoes?
No. Yeah, volcanoes. And I mean God's gonna come in and wreck everything, but it was and restore things to be like everything was going to happen on Earth, like in reality.
Yeah, okay,
It wasn't
yeah.
going to be like this spiritual wooey thing out there in the
there's not you're not like
ethosphere.
transitioning. You're not like transitioning
you're
ethereally
not.
to a different dimension.
No, this is not. It's
Yeah,
very non-ethereal.
But have you considered that, like, maybe when you think about everything that you believe based on good evidence, have you considered nuh-uh?
I have to consider that all the time because that's all that shows up in the comments on my videos. So,
Oh my God. You know what? And I saw a meme on Facebook today where it's just, it was like, something about like all the scholars, presenting their, like it must be rough being a scholar and going through all this like peer reviewed, presenting all your peer reviewed research, to mankind, like showing how far we've come, only to be, challenged by everybody who like ate paste in science class, saying something it was saying like that. It was just like
it really is annoying.
I'm reminded of that one time, that first time, and the last time that I had an actual live exchange with Ammon Hillman, and after presenting, a bunch of my thoughts and the evidence for the Hebrew origins of the Torah, he responded with, all I heard you say was hoo ha hoo ha.
Sounds about
Thanks,
right.
buddy. Yeah.
All right. So a lot of stuff's been going on while YouTube been yakking. First of all, Roger's Annoying Prostrate Fossils newsletters is celebrating 5 months of memberships. So thank you. Dr. Tapioca Weasel is gifting himself new cult members. And those went to Two Guys Talking History. B.S. Lewis, who's in the chat right now, Fern Lovebond. I haven't seen Fern in a while. But Reverb Twang, Threatened Sanity, sounds like me. And then also, I don't know, Paying It Forward, Minor God, Daddy List from Two Gods Talking History, gifted 5 more cult members. And that went to Neil's Item, Counter-Apologetics with Nara the Atheist. I haven't seen Nara in a while, but we do love him and hope he's doing well, and, see him again soon. Supercritical Snake, William Hopkins, Hollyhock. No, not Hollyhock. William Hopkins. And I feel like I'm missing somebody over here. But YouTube does this sometimes too, where they'll like gift some subs and then they'll gift some more, and then a little bit further down the lane they'll gift some more,
Hey.
And as long as we get our subs, like, we don't care. Also, questions that need answers.
Yeah.
Vashani's in the chat. She would like to know, who is this bum and why is everybody sober? Bold of you to assume that everyone is sober.
I'm working on it. Vish.
Have you been watching me?
So I don't know if you guys knew, but Vashanti helps to produce my content now. So when I'm doing my live streams, she's there, making sure things work. And when she's not there, it's chaos. It's absolute chaos.
Can relate.
So I am very happy that I'm doing a stream again. We could talk about it at the end, but I'm doing a stream again on this Thursday evening, and I'm very happy that she's going to be back for that.
Yeah, Vashani's friend of the show. She was on here, I want to say in February or March. So yeah, she's an awesome person.
She is.
Mm-hmm.
So
remembering our light bodies would lead to a transformed world, they believed. Early sources say the Essenes lived on Mount Carmel in northern Israel, but they also operated a hermetically sealed compound at Qumran and elsewhere.
A hermetically sealed compound? What the hell is that? I
know what that is. It's not what they had.
What? You're a scientist. What does that mean? What is a hermetically sealed compound?
A hermetically sealed environment. I don't know the precise definition. It's an environment that is at least airtight and like watertight. Like, things cannot get in and out.
Do they know that's what that means?
What the fuck?
Like, why, can a person live in a hermetically sealed environment? It sounds kind of lethal.
I mean, if you have like recycle, like, I mean, astronauts have to for a long time,
Okay.
right?
Maybe is
You
that
have to
it?
have
Or
So,
does he think they're astronauts?
right?
that is
So here we are back at what the fuck.
that is a distinct possibility. Like you cannot, like, it's very difficult to hermetically seal off an environment with like rocks and stuff. You could probably
Do you
get
think it was hard?
close, but like you wouldn't. That's not how you would live, because as Maya pointed out, you would die, because that's how bodies work.
Yeah, right. I assume I'm guessing it would have been very hard to do in the first century, just with
Yeah,
rocks.
yeah. I mean, but if you add
Sure.
just a little bit of like sealant or oil or whatever between
my gosh.
like what
But
you do
why?
with careful masonry,
Like, why would you do this?
to keep the
What's the
demons out.
point? Keep the demons out. They get through in
that people
they
will spend a lot
leak.
of effort to prevent, like, it, right?
Wow.
Wow,
Wow, that's
keep
wild.
the carbon
I'm sorry.
monoxide out if you happen to have a very sophisticated understanding of the fact that, like, sometimes the underground areas just belch noxious gases that will kill you, which is a thing.
Wow, I'm just I'm very interested to Jody Magnus is an archaeologist who works at Qumran, and I've read a bunch of her work, and I've yet to hear about all the archaeological evidence for the science of hermetic sealing at the ruins of Qumran. Like, they're there. Like, you can go and you can walk around.
To be fair, if they were hermetically sealed back then, that doesn't mean you should expect them to be hermetically sealed now. Like, it's not necessarily a thing that will be permanent.
Sure, but he is presumably has some evidence.
That's
my expectations?
Now that is a very bold assumption.
A bold claim, Kip.
Oh dear.
So Jawad White says, "Oh, sorry, go ahead."
Sorry, no, I was just wondering. Maybe it's the is
the trying to figure out this whole hermetically sealed thing, right?
Is the cosmic sperm bank hermetically sealed?
Well, that would actually make more sense, though.
Hold up, what?
Yeah, right.
Wait, you don't know about the cosmic sperm bank?
No, I don't know about the cosmic sperm bank. You know how much time I think about this?
Jawad, you got to take a back seat.
All right.
So yeah, this is a Richard Carrier thing, and he goes into great detail on how, oh God, I haven't watched this in a couple of years.
Jesus was the literal seed of David. Okay, so
if I
God
plant him in the ground, David will grow.
God extracted semen from David and stored it in the cosmic sperm bank until the birth of Jesus, and extracted it and then used that to impregnate the Virgin in the firmament.
Right.
Well, that all seems perfectly well in order.
Hermetically sealed.
I mean, obviously.
All right.
Sorry. But real quick though. So wait, it's Jawad is saying that separating the soul from the body is the resurrection pattern within Paul's letters, whereas the resurrection pattern found in the four Gospels leans on body and soul equation. Does that make? I'm not really sure what.
So I think I'm wondering what if Jawad White is getting at the difference between like an anthropological dualism and an anthropological monism. Where we've sort of inherited this anthropological dualism where we tend to think of human bodies as vehicles operated by a self or a spirit, right? And within Christianity, this is very Platonic. This is, within a Platonic view, the soul can be separated from the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
The spiritual can be extracted from the physical.
That's how dimensions work. And Horcruxes, yeah.
Yes, Horcruxes. That's exactly right. So, and this very much seems to inform a lot of the ways that Paul thinks about um, the human condition. And I have to go back and look and see how different this is, but it is within an ancient Jewish mindset. They were more monists, where they understood the human as like a complete physical being, that it was all tied up in your physicalness. So when the Hebrew Bible in particular, and then a number of the early Jewish texts, not all of them, because lots of them then get informed by this Hellenistic Platonic ideal of spirit and body, right? But there's still a bunch of Jewish texts which, when they talk about things like the resurrection in the last days, this is an actual, reanimation of the corpses. You get your bodies back and you become, flesh and bone human beings once again. So I wonder if that's what he's getting at. And I haven't looked deeply into how different it is between the Gospels and the writings of Paul, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Regarding the bodily resurrection, to what extent did they worry about like the state of the body, like when it was buried and whatnot? Did it have to be preserved, or was like that was going to be like figured out? Like, you were going to get your body back. You didn't have to worry about keeping the actual remains.
In the literature that we have, there doesn't seem to be much reflection on that. But I imagine if this is an idea that survived, because it changes quite a bit into rabbinic Judaism. But I imagine, let's pretend that the Essenes were like became like the dominant Jewish group, and not the Pharisees after the destruction of the temple and then the expulsion from Jerusalem in 135. Maybe, given the way in which the rabbis tended to fixate and to elaborate endlessly on these sorts of things, then maybe they would have started to, yes, it's one of his expertise, really. But yeah, I don't know. Given enough time, they probably would have found reasons to think very deeply about that kind of stuff, but we just don't have it in the texts that we've got. So who knows?
Yeah.
They did, one of the things they did, there's a prophecy, pretty famous, the sperm. there's a prophecy from the book of Ezekiel in the Hebrew Bible, where the way that Ezekiel envisions the renewal of the nation of Israel is as he comes across a valley full of corpses. They're all that's left of them is bones, and then he has this vision of the bones taking on flesh and blood vessels and becoming living beings once again. So that, now, importantly, this wasn't a prophecy about the resurrection. But it does look like there's a handful of texts in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and unfortunately they're fragmentary. A couple of these are called pseudo-Ezekiel. It's a name that scholars have applied, but it in this text certainly, and maybe a couple of others, it looks like they've taken that vision of reanimated corpses and applied that to the resurrection of the dead in the last days. Unfortunately, it's fragmentary, so we don't see a lot of what's going on. But maybe it's there. Maybe it was there at one point in time. I don't know. That's a fun question.
All right, let's move on.
Selves, the children of light. The Essenes literally saw themselves in a cosmic war against the children of darkness.
That's true. That's true.
Whoa. You got something right, Drink.
I wish I had like a popper thing. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Like a party popper.
I know,
Yes.
right? What do we have here?
We should get those. Oh, you're looking for
Yes.
effects, aren't you? Yeah.
I don't know, like.
No. Maybe. I like how
We've actually been
like how
talking about like a bunch of sound effects that we should get, and the last time I tried
me
any
and
of
my
the other
tiny
sound effects, I
violin.
couldn't turn it off. So yeah, we just had like porn music that was like do for way too long.
Excellent.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm not
Excellent.
touching this stuff anymore.
I hear you.
Were incarnated as the Roman Empire. They claimed they were making the way for the arrival of a high celestial being who would lead a revolution in human evolution, transforming Earth and humanity
What a golden planet.
into a golden planet of
like they believed, and again, like he's glossing over a lot here, right? Like the Essenes,
don't say.
like many early Jews believed that there was going to be a Messiah, that is a figure, an anointed figure of God, probably like a king in the line of David, who is going to come and conquer the Romans and help to reestablish this perfect kingdom of God on earth. And by the time of the writing of the Dead Sea Scrolls, some of this had, some of the ideas about this figure had merged with thoughts of him being, sort of a mix between a human being and a divine being, right? But like importantly, they also thought there was going to be two of them. This
two is different from one.
Two is different from one. And yeah, it's not so clear as all of that. And I don't know, a golden what is that like? Does he actually think it's actually gold?
Probably.
Who knows?
Dr. T, there's a question for you.
This is why I don't interact with chat, okay? Because I interact with chat, and I try and like be a good, co-host and do the thing. And here they are committing weasel hate crimes.
Look, this is your cult following. Well, I mean, it's more my cult following, but like I named them after you.
Are
we love them.
It might have been hyperbolic.
Are they like anti-Weezites?
Well,
no,
I mean,
it's like they love him so much they want to see all of his moods. One in particular.
The one where I get up and I leave the room.
The one where his head explodes like that little emoji.
Yeah. The only sort of shtick on the show they probably like more than that is when Maya boots me off the stream.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't.
That's all it
It's
is.
certainly fun for me.
I can't. Like, I understand reality,
And it's good for you, right? Because then you can fart, and I don't know, you can go get a fill your drink up, or
I do my nachos, right?
yes,
You know,
Well, there was
sure.
a time when you were like humping the bed. That was fun.
I don't remember that.
JD. Oh no, that's a couch, isn't it? I was gonna say JD bed, but that's a couch.
I don't
I got
know that he
couch.
discriminates.
Oh, that's totally my bad. It's just all love being weird.
No, he's talking about the Trump's VP choice. Anyways,
Apparently humped a
Jawad
couch.
White
Anyways.
is saying that there's a discrepancy when it comes to the concept of the resurrection between the four Gospels and Paul's letters. Paul's theology had no impact on the Gospels' narratives in this regard.
That could be. I'm not my field. Also not
Yeah,
surprising.
Dr. Kip is not a New Testament scholar; is an Old Testament.
I
Actually,
dabble.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I
You
said I
dabble in
dabble.
the non-mythical Jesus side of the New Testament.
Actually, I probably dabble more in the mythical Jesus side of the New Testament. That's so, but sad, very sad.
All right, let's move on.
Righteousness and the human race into its most perfect state of being. Many believe Jesus was this celestial being. Even more incredible is the Essenes' claim that they were living with an advanced race of angels or extraterrestrials. These angels, who took human form, were known as the Watchers. They were teaching the Essenes the art of ascension, or how to transform our earthly flesh into a celestial flesh and ascend to a celestial city they refer to as Sion, or the New Jerusalem.
I mean,
okay, so there were the Watchers in the Bible, which did something very different than this.
they had sex with women.
Yeah, a little bit, and may or may not have been the catalyst for the flood.
Yes. So, and this is, I mean, this is really played out in the Book of Enoch, which was really, really popular among the writers and the collectors of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So, but I don't know. He's getting, like, he is the theology elements of their theology. He's just mashing together inappropriately. I mean, the New Jerusalem is just, I mean, it's like the renewed city of Jerusalem. You know, yeah, I don't know. Importantly, I think because he did say that many thought that Jesus was this figure. There's no direct connection between the writers and the collectors of the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Essene movement, and Jesus. It's people like to see a connection there because some of the things that are mentioned in the Gospels, some of the things spoken of by Paul appear similar to elements of theology within the Dead Sea Scrolls. But we don't know how much of this is just part of a larger common milieu of early Judaism. Like, it could just be these could just be widely held beliefs by various different groups.
Or
So
he could be pulling it out of his ass. I mean,
he
is
could
that
be
a
doing
possibility?
that too. Yeah, it could be that too. Yeah.
You're like, I love how you like to say, well, maybe I really love you for it. But for
Hold on.
$5,
I
just
want
for
you to clarify that thought, because I feel like I can pin you to the wall on it.
Oh, probably.
well,
Which
okay,
one?
yeah,
Which
but
thought?
somebody's paying to say something, so we're going to talk
That's
about that
fair.
real quick. $5. Just Alert a Fool says, in fairness, by spreading your intelligence, you are destroying me. If I want to torture the weasel on my way out, it seems even enough.
I'll read a
allow
lot
it.
of things, but it's not intelligence, okay? I'm a very silly person. Wait, oh man, I really hope Lucy never sees that. Sorry.
Jerusalem. Out to stop all this mystical nonsense are the children of darkness, who the Essenes believe are incarnate in the mighty Roman Empire, the reigning cabal on Earth.
That's not terribly far from the truth either.
That also seems like a reasonably likely position from, frankly, probably like half of the population is gonna.
Yeah, I mean,
people hate
listen,
the government. I'm just saying.
The Jews hated the Romans. Like it wasn't, most of them.
I hate
would
the
have been.
reptilians.
So this, what is that? Sorry, I'm just looking at the manuscript on screen. I thought that
is it
was
oriented correctly?
Yeah, it is actually.
Hooray.
And I think it's the Pesher Habakkuk, which is a commentary on the book of Habakkuk. But the way that it's written, it's pretty neat. In the sense that it's taken the text of the book of Habakkuk from Habakkuk chapter 2 and 3, and then it's reinterpreted that to refer to stuff that's happening in their own community and in their own time. So you'll encounter all sorts of sections where it'll quote a section from like the book of Habakkuk, and then it will say the meaning of this is with regards to our founder, the teacher of righteousness, and his encounter with the wicked priest who expelled him from the temple of Jerusalem. So it'll go on like that.
And that's David Koresh, right?
That's essentially what David Koresh was doing, right? Like he was reading the book of Revelation and seeing, everything there as descriptive of what was happening to him and happening to the Branch Davidians living at Mount Carmel, minus the sex stuff. So
hopefully.
Where is
in
Tomer
my opinion, the accounts of the Essenes' interactions with the Celestials are contained in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the texts they left behind. These extraordinary texts affirm there was something.
This particular one on the screen is the largest of all the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is the Temple Scroll, which measures, I think it's like 40 feet in length, and it's not complete. We're missing the beginning. But this is a cool manuscript because it's rewritten huge portions of Deuteronomy, and then mix those with a bunch of rules and descriptions of the temple in the last days, the celestial temple. But the cool thing about this text is it's written in the first person, and attributed to Yahweh himself. So in terms of a power play and an argument from authority, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yahweh has pretty good handwriting, I think. I mean, I can't read it.
It's not
but
bad, and
it looks
this
pretty
is
good.
this is really an exquisite manuscript. We're looking at
how preserved that is. Like that looks like it could have been written
yesterday.
They don't. Yeah, on old paper.
They don't all look like this.
No,
right?
Clearly,
this
is
one. The really important manuscripts were stored in jars inside of not all of them, right? So this is one of them that was. The other thing, I'll just say that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'll just say this quickly. What we're looking at is the earlier columns of the Temple Scroll, which were actually they look like they were replaced. So this is actually written 60, 70 years later. It's like they, the first part of the manuscript wore out, so they just pulled it off and rewrote it and then reattached it. So and the handwriting on this section is much, much better. Still pretty good throughout, but
what was their, like, how did they determine what is an important scroll versus?
Oh, that's a good question. I have no idea. I mean,
Okay.
it's whatever. Now I'll say this. I think what was the critical determining factor for them was anything that really spoke to whatever they were living through. So they would read
Okay.
texts and say, "Oh, this really sounds like something that's happening to us now." And so we see, like, in terms of the actual biblical manuscripts, so-called biblical manuscripts that they collected, one of the things that we see is they had, they really, really liked the book of Genesis. They liked the book of Exodus and the book of Deuteronomy. But then they also really liked things like the book of Isaiah, the book of Psalms, the 12 prophets.
Not Esther,
And
though.
no Esther. They didn't have
it. Do you think that is because of a limitation in how much we have preserved, or because it wasn't part of their canon?
No, I think that they probably were very anti Book of Esther. They did not celebrate the festival of Purim, which is, what the Book of Esther is all about, and they weren't happy about the fact it was pretty secular. It was a pretty secular book in the sense that it doesn't have much to do with God or angels or it's pretty pragmatic. It's an interesting story in their mind. It's a story about a queen, a Jewish girl who helps to save her people, but not necessarily by being or behaving particularly Jewish. So they wouldn't have been. There's a good reason why it's not included, but there's other things that they the book of Kings was not popular in the Dead Sea Scrolls, nor was the Book of Chronicles. So, like, the actual quote unquote history books, they didn't seem to have much
You didn't
use
think the
for.
history part was very.
No, right?
It's
They were writing
interesting.
their own history,
Right. Right.
and using script, using the prophets to do it.
Mm-hmm.
What about Judges?
Yeah, that's not many copies. There's a couple of copies of the Book of Judges,
but it's like a situation where there are multiple copies of, like, that's
Yeah.
so rare.
This
That's not like it's like the greatest discovery. It's like that.
And some of the texts, like the Book of Isaiah, there's 22 copies, individual copies of portions of the Book of Isaiah, right? Same with like Deuteronomy, it's over 30, or the Book of the Psalms, it's also over 30. Now, one of the problems here is how we've identified some of these two. We call them books, when in actual fact, like, so for example, there's one of the parts of Deuteronomy, which scholars tend to think is maybe the oldest, is called the Song of Moses. It's in Deuteronomy 32. We have copies in the Dead Sea Scrolls of just the Song of Moses from Deuteronomy 32. And that's it. That's like they just had a scroll with the Song of Moses. So what? Was that the Book of Deuteronomy? Like, in their estimation? I don't think so. I think this was something completely different in their mind. But we call it Deuteronomy because, that's where it fits in the canon. But in a pre-canonical environment, the lines and the way that they think about these texts, it all changes. It's all totally different.
I need to have a shirt made with this on it. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's cool, isn't it? You can buy ties, but you probably don't wear a tie, Maya.
Indeed. I did want to know, what were the most say popular books or the books that they had like what books were most important to them?
So yeah, like I said, Genesis, Deuteronomy, Isaiah, the Psalms, stuff from the minor prophets like Habakkuk and Micah and Nahum. So and there's parts, and they seem to be treating a lot of these texts in the same way. Genesis is a little bit different, and it seems like they were fascinated by this story of the Watchers, right, from Genesis chapter 6, the story about the angels coming down and having sex with women, and they had lots of copies of the Book of Enoch, which seems to be why they also really like the Book of Genesis, because it told this story. They also really like
the Book of Enoch.
Yeah, there's like 6, which is pretty high when you compare it to some other. I mean, that's as many copies as they have of the Book of Jeremiah, and more than the Book of Ezekiel.
Sorry. Is there a lot of sex in the Book of Enoch?
Oh, sex?
Yeah.
Yeah, not really. They have other texts for that, though. There's some pretty steamy stuff in a text they have called the Genesis apocryphon. And they have lots of stories in that about Bitanosh, the wife of Moses, having sex with potentially, he thinks she's had sex with angels, and he's very upset about it. There's another part in the Genesis apocryphon that describes the do you know this story when Abraham goes to Egypt? He decides he's scared for his own life. He's worried because his wife Sarah's so beautiful,
and he keeps on lying and saying that she's his sister. He does that like multiple times, and
and it never works out.
So there's an expanded version of this story in the Genesis apocryphon where he puts her in a box and tries to smuggle her into Egypt, but gets stopped at the border, and a customs agent comes by and opens the box to, I don't know, like steal some fruit or something.
Oh, right, because
but it says
like tax collectors,
when the box opens, it says that Sarah's beauty is so radiant that it illuminates the entire land of Egypt, and then it goes into great detail of how exactingly perfect Sarah was in her physical appearance in every conceivable way. So yeah, it's
I don't know. I bet she was just like curled up, and the first thing they saw was her feet. They were one of those feet people.
The feet people.
And we can't say a whole lot more on that, because apparently YouTube's really about it. So
I don't know if you can pull that up, but Vishanti did put a comment here about how she read a particularly spicy passage for one of my videos on the Genesis apocryphon. So God gets credit for many an orgasm. It's true.
Fact.
Truly unusual and mystically special about the Essenes. They are quintessentially spiritual, oriented towards the celestial realm and its otherworldly inhabitants. Their goal was an alliance with the upper world. The scrolls describe cosmic battles, beings, portals, hidden agendas, and
pretty sure that one's the Chodayot, which is a collection of hymns and poems, supposedly written by the leader of the community, and which they probably this is another one of these texts, Maya, that they consider really, really important. It's a text that nobody even knew of before the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's loaded with some pretty hauntingly beautiful Hebrew poetry. So it's fun.
New superhumans. And cloaked behind it all is the celestial city, the home and mother church of their angelic teachers, and the target of their ascension.
Real quick, Vishanti has a question.
The mothership. Oh. What's up with the Scribal tradition, Scribal edition in the lower third of the page there?
Here?
Oh yeah. So yeah, it there's it looks like somebody missed inserting the word soterim, so they added it. This is what they did, right? Like if you make oh, that's much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
There you go.
you make mistakes because you're a
Somebody.
scribe,
Mm-hmm.
and this is, and you're working with really frustrating material,
Okay.
and you're copying by daylight or candlelight or oil lamp, right?
Okay.
Are these flammable?
Are they flammable?
Is this flammable?
Yeah, I assume
Yeah.
so.
It's that's not
I mean,
obvious to me.
It's biological material, right?
Yeah, but like leather is not what I would generally classify as like flammable, right?
I know it's
I
been
would,
treated
Get
with
it hot enough, but this has been dried out for 2,000 years. Yeah, it's flammable.
Well,
I
I
get
mean,
like that. I get
right, but
but
I thought that just real quick. I thought that when they made a mistake, it was supposed to be in the margins and like crossed out, and then like the update was supposed to be put in the
they
margins. Is this
have
normal?
they have yeah, they have different ways
Okay.
of marking and correcting their mistakes, and this is the most frequent, is just to include an insertion in the interlinear between, usually above the text, where it appears. So yeah, it's and this happens all over the place, and in all sorts of different kinds of texts. It's
cool and Dave, it absolutely does not happen all over the place.
What's that?
Never mind.
I made it up. No,
I was making I called you a fool and knave, which is exactly the inscription that was made in like one of the most famous, like Codex Vaticanus or something like that.
Oh, that one. The
Yeah.
scribe who said, "This isn't part of the original text, you fool," and knave.
Well,
That's right.
what happened was somebody had somebody had crossed out the word and like written over it, and then later, 200 years later or whatever, somebody went and
Yeah.
pointed to that, and then in the caption said, "You do not cross out the thing. You make a note in the margin, you fool and knave."
Yes.
Or something like that. That was anyway.
All right. So
yeah.
Oh, sorry. $10
No,
video of native atheist who wants to say 2 docs plus a queen equals a darn good show. So I do want to clarify, not necessarily a queen. I'm a goddess. And so if you think about like actually the time of these documents were written, you have the kings and the queens who answered to the gods of their specific region. And then you had El, the most high god, who was the king of the gods. I'm the queen of them. I'm a goddess.
That's
the queen
that's
of them.
Indisputed. Just to just returning a little bit to Vishanti's question here. I can see what's happened. The scribe has written Veleshofrim, which means for judges, and then he's just moved on to sorry, where is that? He's just moved on to Vimispar. Their number is required by their armies. So because Vishofrim looks very much like Shotrim, you can even hear it, right? He thought they're right beside each other. Velishofrim, Velishotrim. And he probably paused at that point. He wrote Velishofrim to the judges, and then he paused to maybe get a little bit more ink on his stylus, and went to continue, and then missed the word, and just continued on. So somebody else had to come back and include it. This is what we would call an instance of haplography, which is where the eye skips from one part of the text to another similar part of the text, and everything in between is lost.
Actually, Dr. Josh did a video on that.
There's a video.
I mean, it was years ago, but where there are parts in the Bible where they say things kind of, I think more than once, but to try to make enforce it, like, you know, I'm a goddess. I'm a goddess. Like, you know, so just in case people forget. But you could also say, you know, word, 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 and then word, 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 different word. But it's to relate the two sentences to let you know that you're trying to make a comparison.
Like a parallel.
Yeah, yeah.
So the Hebrew poetry is usually through parallelism.
Yeah. And so that's what, and again, I haven't seen that video in a while, so I can't even think of like the name of it, but I remember him talking about it when he was talking about like this stuff. And so what he was saying was it was common for scribes to jump from this word and then go down a line to where you would maybe see the word again and then start writing, but like leave a whole line out.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
There are lots of instances like that scholars have hypothesized about just in the biblical text, right? Like in the text that we've received, they've looked at sections and said, wow, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. I wonder if something got skipped. And in looking at different manuscripts too, you can sometimes correct these mistakes. But we see much the same thing in manuscripts like these in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Now, there are a couple of places where there's some really interesting instances of scribal insertions. Somebody has added text to a manuscript. Some of these appear in maybe the most famous of all the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's a complete copy of Isaiah called the Great Isaiah Scroll. In the second half of the Great Isaiah Scroll, there's a number of places where they're like multiple lines, like 2 lines, maybe as many as 3 lines, have been left blank by the original scribe, and somebody has come along and filled it in with text. And sometimes it matches, pretty well with our surviving text of Isaiah. But then other times it's like we're substantially different. And what scholars think has happened is that the copy that the scribe was reading from, because they see these corrections, these blank spaces that are left, appear in sort of like their what's the word I'm looking for? Like they appear in, I guess, the same, almost like a repeating. It's almost like a repeating pattern, right? Through to the end of the scroll. So someone's come along and said, they must be reading from a manuscript that's damaged on the bottom, so they're missing stuff that's there, right? And so they know it's missing, and they're like, I'm just going to leave it blank. And then somebody else has come along and filled it in. But sometimes the scribe has gotten cocky and says, well, it's missing, but I remember what this text is, and tries to fill it in himself. And it's quite different. So it's really interesting. It's really amusing.
That is interesting.
And then I'll mention one more manuscript that I did a lot of work on is a copy of the book of Jeremiah. It's one of the oldest biblical manuscripts in the world. It dates to about 200 BCE, maybe even a little bit older. And there's one part where it comes to the end of Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 28, and the original scribe has stopped and left a break there in his paragraph, moved to the next line, and picked up with Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 5. So missing is everything from verse 28 all the way through chapter 8, verse 4.
God.
And when the editor, and then a scribe has come along, and
I would
and
totally
based
do
on,
that.
yeah, based on the dating of the handwriting, it looks like it's about 100 years have passed before another scribe came along and filled in what was missing. But he started in the paragraph break, and he's writing really small, right? So he puts 3 lines there, then he runs out of room, and so he turns the
That's where you
manuscript
need a
sideways
post-it note.
and writes down the margin, adds 4 lines there, still doesn't have room, so then he turns it again and it's upside down now, and he finishes it
What
in
a
the bottom
champion.
margin on the bottom.
But he did it. He
So
got it all
he
in.
did it. Now,
There we go.
The editor of this manuscript, Emmanuel Tove, has said, well, it's a huge chunk of text, right? He says, well, maybe his eye skipped. And I'm like, does your eye skip from here when you're reading down to like here? Like, no.
Yeah.
It actually, and if you read it without the chunk that's in the text, it reads pretty seamlessly. So a prevalent theory now, and this is what I think happened, is what we have actually preserved in our biblical text is a late version with, this insertion. And what you have in the Dead Sea Scrolls is the original text with maybe one of the first instances of this inserted section. So sorry, that one gets me excited, but
no,
it's fine.
We love a good tangent as long as it's on topic.
Okay.
I do want to really quick thank Pragmatic Crystal for being a member for 6 months. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Crystal, for all you do. And please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your vaginas, and your nitties.
Yes.
And questions that need answers.
Yes.
Lawrence would like to know, Dr. Kip, have you considered cosmic sperm?
That's why it has to be hermetically sealed. It's special cosmic sperm, Lawrence.
For the record, sperm probably should be hermetically sealed. Like that.
I mean, if anything should be, definitely
also,
that.
Also probably frozen. I think that's how that works.
For $2, Mahalia Lago would like to know, Dr. Kip, can you confirm that Jeremiah was indeed a bullfrog?
I think this might be a myth.
He was a good friend of mine.
I think this is a feeble attempt at softening the reputation of Jeremiah, who spent his entire career just yelling at people.
Oh my God, right? Well, which Jeremiah?
Oh.
Bullfrogs are notoriously loud.
This is true.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. It's not like shrill, obnoxious screaming that I imagine Jeremiah was famous for.
Stop projecting your opinion of me onto Jeremiah, okay? like Jeremiah was a solid. He wrote more words. Jeremiah is the longest book in the Bible by word count. I think I'm not wrong about that. Yes,
you're absolutely right about that.
I feel so.
Jeremiah has a lot of good friends.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Kip, are you getting tired, or do you want to try to make it to 2?
We can go for it.
We're not
5 minutes in. I'm sorry.
I was like, do you want to? Yeah, I'm just going for. We already said that we're not getting through.
No,
I was hoping to get to 10 minutes.
We could aim for 10 minutes. I put it on 2x.
All right,
it's not gonna help.
Okay,
I mean, because there's so much that needs to be debunked in this video.
I'm sorry. I do keep stopping and talking about the manuscripts that are on the screen,
and then we have like a tapioca weasel that keeps derailing and.
Oh, so it's all the doctor's fault. Okay.
The new superhumans. And cloaked behind it all is the celestial city, the home and mother church of their angelic teacher.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, we don't have to. We're not. I mean, finishing the video is not like a
It's
thing
not-
that's going to happen. You can keep it on
no, we all know that.
2.25, and we can just like
Well,
give Dr. Kip talking points until we hit 2.5 hours, and then we'll let him talk about what he's going to do and let him go to bed.
That is going to be a matter for
Well,
your self-control.
I live on the West Coast, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's earlier
Hell
here.
yeah.
Yeah, see, you can put it down to a listenable speed.
I do have to eat at some point, but
yeah, no, 15 minutes. That's all we ask.
Jeremiah.
Does that work for you?
I'm reading this comment from Crafty. You heard it here first, folks. Dr. Kip is a Jeremiah mythicist.
Flips table.
No.
Throat.
Absolutely not. No.
Maya's the Jeremiah mythicist. I don't think
all the wine.
Jeremiah was real, but he was a real dick.
Fair.
All right.
I'm out of wine now.
And the target of their ascension.
That sounds like a personal
I'm
planning.
Oh no, there's more over here.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, go.
Oh, lucky
you.
Now that I moved my office, my wine is far away.
Well, yeah, no, that's
I mean,
a personal problem. But did you forget that you were coming on to Bad Science Sunday and that you needed to keep wine in like arm's reach?
Clearly did.
I was actually just talking about one of our guests in January who left to go on a beer run in the middle of the street. It's like, I'm out of beer. Fuck that shit.
Was that?
That's awesome.
Was that?
Who did that?
Was that Oz?
That was that actually happened to us. It was our first stream of the year.
And
we were like, what
did you
what
say
happened?
it was Oz?
Yeah.
It was Oz.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how
that
humans
was the stream
can
before your
ascend
first stream here.
You guys know that I am Oz. Dr. Josh and I are Aussie's Dr.
Oh,
Funkers.
yeah,
you were aware of that, right?
Bible phone a friend person, yeah.
Man, I chose the wrong.
We gave him a PhD.
I chose the wrong field to get a PhD in to like hang out in this community because atomic physics, it just doesn't come up that much. It really doesn't.
Really doesn't.
We have to not compared to like the Dead Sea Scrolls, right?
It's crazy, right? Yeah, that just tells you everything that's wrong in the world.
Well,
yeah, I don't know that your Jesus realism good enough because DJ Oz, I got to tell you, still
I know,
yeah.
I know, but that's
yeah. My Lord and Savior, Godless Engineer, seems to disagree with you. So
they are not friends.
He's still a cool dude.
The dark side won a major victory in AD 68 when the Romans decimated the Essenes in an early example of ethnic cleansing or spiritual genocide.
Whoa.
With the destruction of the Essenes and the murder of almost 1 million of these souls.
I don't know.
Ascension.
Wait, they murdered 1 million Essenes?
Were there 1 million Essenes?
Is that what happened?
No.
What? Kip, were there?
I'm not even sure.
I was today years old.
No, I'm not even sure there were 1 million people living in Palestine.
Well, there must have been. Well, more than that, because there were 1 million Essenes that were ethnically cleansed by the Romans.
Cleansed. Wow, he makes it sound like they targeted them.
Well, that might have happened. I mean,
listen,
the Romans actually probably didn't do as much.
No, that was totally something the Romans would do. But did it happen?
It really isn't. The Romans were very pragmatic. They didn't really care about ethnic cleansing.
Lives?
No. So
they didn't care about. You're right, but
here's
ethnic cleansing is a systematic attempt to
I didn't say that.
No. Oh, well, then I
He said that.
He did say that.
Yeah.
But I said
he did.
What do you call it? That it was something the Romans would do. I didn't say that it was something the Romans did.
Okay. That's I appreciate
okay, so what I'm saying and what he's saying.
I totally I
am saying didn't actually happen because it's not implausible. All I'm saying.
Okay. here's what happened.
I appreciate that, and
Do you want to hear what happened?
Yeah, I would love that.
So the Romans breached the walls of Jerusalem and destroyed the temple and sacked the city. And then the main group of renegade Jewish fighters holed up at the old Winter Palace of Herod in Masada, which is on the southern end of the Dead Sea. So from Jerusalem, they marched down to Masada to get the rest of them. Qumran is on the way. So they just stopped there, wrecked the place and continued on their way. It wasn't, they just were in the way.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go to...
That sounds like way more plausible than what he's saying.
Than the ethnic cleansing of 1 million Essenes? I guess so.
He did say that.
You know what? We don't have time. Sorry. Doesn't matter what reminds you.
Teachings were lost, stashed in caves near Qumran, but they were not forgotten.
No?
Mystical luminaries sought their teachings for ages. Believing in reincarnation, it's possible the Essenes knew that their disappearance at the hands of the Romans was a temporary state of affairs. They would return.
No, there's no reincarnation in the Dead Sea Scrolls. There is not. It's just not. It's not there. So.
Well, yeah, but have you considered? Hold on.
You're the one leaving all those comments on my videos, aren't you? It's you.
I
Damn,
can
figured you out.
You know what? I am going to respect my first Canadian Amendment right to.
You're not even, dude. Myself. I know you're not even Canadian. You can't do that.
He's like really far north in America, so it still means nothing.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I have so many Canadian friends. Was it the sudden turn to a question mark at the end that made it laughable? Is that where I went wrong there? All right, I'm gonna press play.
You know, we all know each other up here. You know that, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's how hats work. Yeah, everybody in the hat knows each other.
Yeah. Oh, ouch. Okay.
The Essenes' cache of scrolls, in fact, was rediscovered by chance in 1947.
Okay, I gotta say, this does not look 2,000 years old.
You're right. It's upside down. It's not a Dead Sea Scrolls. Very, very good, Vandy, that you noticed this is not 2,000. This is a medieval Jewish manuscript. This is not.
It looks like somebody walked on it. Do you see this right in the middle?
Oh yeah, sure. It looks like a footprint.
Yes,
there.
like a sneaker footprint.
But importantly, it's upside down.
That's. It's almost like you're a grifter who can't read the thing that you're talking about and believe that your audience is too stupid to know the difference.
Kind of like what he thinks about me in physics.
Oh, yeah.
Undoubtedly.
I've been talking mad shit about you.
I mean, it's...
my favorite one was there's only one doctor in the stream.
Yeah, I responded ouch to that one because I was like, oh man, shots fired. Well done, Beefy. Well done. And like in my opinion, yeah, no, that's totally in bounds.
I know. I mean, if she wasn't such a goddamn bitch, like that would have been hilarious. Like if I had said it, I think I could have gotten a couple of
I mean, we were all laughing, okay? So it was hilarious, even though you know,
I mean,
yeah.
it did get her. I don't know if that got her a timeout or what, but yeah,
I
the
hope
mods were
not.
not amused.
I really don't like it when she gets in trouble for
No
teasing
one
me.
cares.
In my view,
Except
these
me.
texts
I thought it was funny.
See?
describe the process by which all the therapeutae or members of the Essene community entered or ascended into the angelic life. The Essenes sought this bodily and spiritual perfection in order to cross over a veil or a boundary, then, and commune with these beings, and to stand united with the angels.
Okay, this guy.
Citation needed, dude.
Also, this guy is stoned as hell. Look at his eyes.
Wait,
Can you
okay, so
tell?
wait, they believe that like the angels were aliens that could permeate the firmament
Yeah,
and like communicate with them in what, their fucking spaceship?
I guess your guess is as good as mine. I don't do spaceships when I'm reading Second Temple Jewish literature.
Well, okay, this is your problem. You're
Why?
not
I mean, they
spending
so
enough
clearly
time.
believed that afterlives and spaceships were a thing, which is
Yeah,
totally shown by this picture here of aliens from space
totally. Yes, this
ascending from
in
heaven. They're
this piece of medieval Christian art, you know,
oh my
many hundreds of years removed from the composition of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So yeah. Hey, Empire Nation. Which one? Empire Nation. I was gonna ask about Titan Uranus's avatar. I haven't seen that before. Do we know who that is? Who is that?
That's Titan this month.
Oh,
I have no idea who that
Titan, who are you this month? It's kind of like
kind of hot though.
it's like Matt
it's pretty good.
Damon crossed with like somebody thinner.
Is it from that?
It's like a younger Marky Mark, Mark.
Oh
Yeah, Marky
yes, it
Mark
totally
meets
looks like him.
Matt Damon.
Yes, agreed.
Their love child. Yeah, and you would get Titan. Oh, yep. Let's see. Called it.
It's of course. Yes,
I
got it. Good to know.
Before God, and to live in a state of perfect light for all eternity. One scroll speaks directly of this transformation. And thou hast cleansed the perverse spirit from many sins, that he might enter into the station with the army of the saints, and enter into communion with the sons of heaven. And thou hast cast an everlasting destiny for man in the company of the spirits of knowledge, that he might praise thy name in concord and recount thy marvels before thy works.
So,
in my view,
I mean, a reference would have been helpful.
Say what?
Well, I mean, you know,
I mean,
clearly
I'd love to look this text up.
No, it's the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's your reference. It's in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Duh.
So can I? I'll just so.
He's like, Dead Sea Scrolls. I have those.
This isn't all of them, right? This is
Those
just
don't look like scrolls. Those look like books.
The
they
Dead
are
Sea books.
but
A
this
likely
is
story.
This
is a healthy sampling of most of them. And
okay, well, that was the most qualified statement I've ever heard.
So I mean, there's still a lot of stuff missing from this collection here, but like you can see, that's two relatively sizable volumes. It would be useful if you could tell me where to find that in the hundreds and hundreds of pages of material there.
You don't have a book I should own, do you?
Do I have a book you should own? Like one that I wrote? No.
Yeah, like the one that you wrote. Yeah.
No,
okay.
the ones that I have written are you can get those. I encourage you to download pirated versions of those for free because they're far too expensive to purchase. Citations are for bozos. That's true. Yeah. So
The word sin simply means to miss the mark or to fall short of perfection. It basically means to be embodied in fallen and imperfect human flesh, as opposed to our original and perfect, glorious light bodies of celestial flesh.
The purpose of original. Wait a minute. Are we have original glorious bodies of light flesh? Wait a minute.
Flesh
This sounds very similar.
It's not light flesh, Maya. It's a flesh light.
Vandy, we were just talking about like the DNA. What do you call it? Was it light? What was Roger talking about? It was light. Oh, yeah, light having its own DNA that we can what is it called when you do the DNA sampling like he did on the rocks?
Jacking off on some rocks? I don't know.
No, Roger was just talking about this. Was that last week where he tested the DNA of light?
There's a cave and it's a vagina.
The DNA of light?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Roger's the guy who's on this video, right?
No, you would think that. That was last week. This week we have our DNA light bodies that Roger was obviously referring to because, he makes sense.
Oh, good Lord.
He doesn't think that we have DNA light bodies. He thinks that all the DNA is
He thinks light is DNA.
He thinks that rocks are what? Well, you're not wrong,
rocks.
Not wrong. Yeah, he does think.
Oh, rocks have DNA too. He tested it.
And everything's made of electrons, and electrons are also made of electrons. Which, and not in the way that's obvious, but dumb.
We saw it on a Word document that he wrote out by hand. You can't refute that.
I'm not.
Look, hey, that was a totally real thing. That Word document, we saw it with our own eyes.
He did it by pecking.
Look, I can't confirm or deny that there may actually have been 1,000 chimps jumping on his keyboard during the making of that DNA profile. But it exists. Sure. That I can confirm.
All right.
Or perfecting the spirit and overcoming sin is so that one may better serve God, but ultimately it enables one to enter the heavenly realms and live in communion with the sons of heaven as perfect light beings in the celestial city, according to the Essenes.
Is it according to the Essenes?
No, all right. Like I said, this is one of these instances where the guy's reading later Christian traditions back onto the literature of the Dead Sea Scrolls and filling in the gaps.
I didn't see a rapture in any of this.
No.
I don't. The rapture is a newer concept, right?
Well, this is my point.
In terms of humans being translated into the sky or into heaven or another realm. Yeah, that's
just vanishing and leaving everybody else behind so that they can be the protagonists in novels.
There's yes. There's just nothing like that. I mean, there's not really anything even like that in the New Testament, as far as I'm aware.
If you squint and do a bunch of mushrooms, though.
Look, if you completely
that's how it's done, dude.
If you completely deny the historicity of the text and pull a bunch of shit out of your ass, the New Testament completely says that.
Mm-hmm. It just goes to show you can, when it comes to ancient literature, I don't know if it's harder to do with modern literature, but this seems to be the case with ancient literature. Certainly, is you can seem to make it say whatever you want.
I think you can do that with anything. I don't think it's unique to ancient. Yeah. I don't think it's unique to ancient literature. I think that the tendency to focus on ancient literature is because it's ancient and stuff. But I think I think that if you take any text and say, I want you to find all of the messages in this, you're going to have numerology BS.
Now that, thank you actually for mentioning that, Vandy, because now as I think about it, this is very much the way that inspiring philosophy just reads anything.
And he's so dramatically not the worst example, but you're right.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
One, first of all, Lawrence, you being on the show is like the new thing I never knew that I needed in my life. I don't know how to get a hold of you, but like a
join. Join the Discord.
Okay.
If you're on Discord, I'm Pappy O'Keefe.
I just want to see a YES in the chat, and I will find you.
Join the Discord, Maya. Milwaukee Atheists Discord. You'll find them.
What is the Sophia of Jesus Christ? I know you're not a New Testament scholar, but like this is like a thing I'm hearing. Like I was today years old when I heard about this, and so I'm intrigued.
So, I mean the Greek word for wisdom is Sophia, and there was a Greek goddess, Sophia as well, right? So within the book of Proverbs, from the Bible, there's a couple of texts where wisdom, the Hebrew word for wisdom is chokhmah. It's a feminine noun, and it's personified as a woman. So there is but the way it's done is it's done in such a way where wisdom is juxtaposed in contrast to folly, as like these two women. Wisdom is pictured in the book of Proverbs as this female, maybe a divine figure who's present with God at creation, and is like his helper, and then that's contrasted with folly, who's a prostitute calling to the young men to come and hang out with her. Lawrence notes that this is developed much later into a Gnostic text.
Oh, Nag Hammadi.
Right? From
gotcha.
Nag Hammadi. So, yeah. And I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. So
I've heard of it. And, I guess I've got to go read okay. I will do that too.
I've got that here somewhere.
So yeah, the Hammurabis did go through the what did they go through? I want to say it was the Enuma Elish, which is the only reason that which was the only reason that I know what's in that.
Because of Billy Carson.
No, I know other things because of Billy Carson, and don't think that was the last time we're gonna have him on our show. He's just a wealth of information. I'm telling you.
That stuff was kind of wild. So I'm looking.
The Essenes haven't.
No, go ahead.
Were you looking? Okay.
I was looking for the Sophia of Jesus. So, but
I mean,
anyways.
I certainly won't be able to help you with that. So,
history about them. Writing in the 1st century AD, the Roman writer Pliny mysteriously claimed that they had existed for thousands of ages, hinting that they are part of a forgotten eternal race that he says exists outside of time. This may be the race later referred to as the immovable race of perfect light humans, or simply as the race in the secret book of John, a Gnostic text of secret teachings. Becoming perfect light humans was
it could be that.
You don't sound convinced.
Or
I must say.
maybe, I don't know.
Or could it be
something else? Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. I think we've all learned so much here. But
really? Have we? I don't know. That's generous.
So
thanks, Maya.
So, okay. in fairness, Dr. Tapp and I were looking at this, and I'm like, I don't know what to make of this. But it's from Gaia. So I'm pretty sure it might be bullshit. But you
Yeah.
know who would know? Our guest tonight.
Yeah,
He would probably be able to tell us if this is real or if it's bullshit.
it's bullshit.
And how do you weigh in, Dr. Kip?
I think it's bullshit.
Oh
It's
man, damn it.
yeah.
You know what, Dr. T, we
So
found more bullshit again.
You
Just
know,
keep running into this.
you know what it feels like? It feels like we might be, and I do not use this word lightly, we might be bullshit magnets.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't know what to do about this. I
I mean, we do
Leslie.
seem to be heat-seeking
Does it-
missiles for it. I'm just saying.
wow.
And you know, to our audience, you're welcome.
They love it.
You know, it's they keep coming back for it.
It's fun watching people say a bunch of nonsense while posting pictures of texts upside down that aren't even the actual text that they're talking about. Right.
It is common. It is certainly common. Wait, is Dr. Dan here?
No, my buddy Dan from high school is here.
Oh, okay. Hi, Dan from. Oh, right. Okay. Hi, Dan from high school.
Your buddy Dan from high school
From
is
high
here.
school is
Dan
here.
Corzine, yeah.
Wow.
You know what I found out? So, like, I don't know. Like, I had my brother in here earlier this year because he found my channel, and then
I think
my
I saw that
dad
one.
was lamenting like that I don't talk to him enough.
Oh no.
Whoop. Okay, sorry. I accidentally opened a tab I didn't mean to open. So anyways, and so he was like, well, you know, doing like the Jewish mother like guilt trip, like, well, I guess if I want to see you, I'll just visit your stream like everyone else. And I'm like, I don't
So
know if I
did
want to
he?
hear that because, like, I
Oh.
do way too much like dick jokes, and you
Yeah.
know, I say fuck way too much.
I know. Yeah. I know the feeling. My dad posted a birthday message on my birthday stream back in April. But he did it before the stream aired. And I think that was by design on his part, because he knew deep down that he probably didn't want to watch at all.
This would have been a great show for my dad and my brother to watch because I think this is stuff that my brother certainly would have been into. My dad,
I sent my mom
I
a link to the
stopped
show tonight.
talking to my dad about religion because the last time we talked about it, he had a lot of BHI talking points, and it made me want to punch a baby.
What's
So,
BHI?
BHI, I don't.
Black Hebrew Israelites.
Oh,
those guys.
Mm-hmm. So apparently, a couple of them found him.
Wow.
And like, it really made me want to find them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And murder them.
Or you know, we don't advocate violence here, outside of the like proverbial baby that doesn't exist.
You want to be? Hold on, what?
You're the queen of the sky, Maya.
Oh,
yeah. You know,
you can make things happen.
I mean, you know, if Yahweh could blot out the earth with a flood, I mean, you know, and apparently it is godly, and YouTube should not censor me for it.
No.
Well, they're going to, okay? I mean,
clearly. So we're not going to advocate violence on the stream.
No, we're not.
Or godly genocides.
But that only holds if you're mortals. So all you mortals out there, no murder and genocide.
No murder and genocide. We do not advocate it.
Stuff. Not advocate it at all.
For the mortals.
No.
But yeah, the BHI stuff definitely made me not want to talk to my dad about religion anymore. So that doesn't happen. But yeah, I think this is a family friendly, wholesome stream that I think that I would send to my pastor, like, hey, look how wrong you are.
So, but I mean, hopefully your pastor would watch a Gaia video and go, "This is fucked up."
Yeah, he
Goes,
probably wouldn't say like, yeah, reincarnation is not real, and they're not space aliens coming to the sky to permeate the firmament to
yeah,
abduct us and bring us into their spaceship. I would
yeah.
hope. I would hope.
Hopefully,
But
hopefully. So,
anyways,
yeah. Well,
Dr. Kip,
yeah,
who are
I'm
you?
out of
Where
wine.
are you? And what do you have coming up this week?
I am out of wine. I have a channel. It's very inventively called Kip Davis. Because that's my name.
Which
And
is weird. Like people who
I'm
use their like
yeah,
IRL name
my
for their channels
right.
is like
That's
creepy.
so off. You guys don't do that.
Never.
Don't do that, Maya.
I don't. Just saying.
I'm sorry. I
So
rudely interrupted you.
no. Yeah, I'm a specialist. I'm a Hebrew Bible scholar, and I'm a specialist in early Judaism and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I do that kind of stuff on my channel. This week, I'm excited. On Thursday evening, I don't know if you guys saw anything about this or heard anything about this, but my good friend, Dr. Joshua Bone, over at Digital Hammurabi, who is an Assyriologist and a Hebrew Bible scholar, we did a fun project with our mutual friend Paulogia, all about.
Wait, another one?
No. This is from a few months back. I'm
Okay.
telling
Yeah, that was a
the
good one.
backstory. Yeah, I thought it was good. It was all about why scholars don't think that the conquest of Canaan actually happened, and we were countering the nonsense of one Michael Jones from Inspiring Philosophy, who reads books the way that Gaia does, and
Ooh, ow.
he yeah, so
Fair.
he was upset about it, and he
No shit.
he almost cried on his stream as a result, and so anyways, Josh and I have decided, honestly, like, this is something that seems to be a real problem for some people. They just can't seem to wrap their head around. Apologists keep coming back to the same tired old tropes about the historicity of the conquest, and we're just done with it. So we're doing a whole bunch of things, a series of projects related to this. And on Thursday night, we're going to have on my channel Dr. Mark Luchter, who is a professor of Old Testament at Temple University, to talk about the book of Joshua and to talk about its historical and social location, and to talk about the reasons why you can't read it like a straightforward retelling of the history of the Bronze Age and the early Iron Age. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I hope everybody comes and checks it out. Thursday night, 5:00 Pacific, 8:00 Eastern. So,
Oh yeah, that works
thanks,
right with
guys.
my work schedule. And
Oh,
so are you going to make Inspiring Philosophy cry like again?
I probably.
I
I
mean,
don't
like
know. I
we're
mean
all here
it.
for it, right?
I saw it once and that was enough for me. But if it happens again, what can I do? I don't know. So he's a sensitive guy. He seems
I
deeply
did notice
affected.
that.
I've watched a couple of exchanges between him and my friend, Dr. Dan McClellan, and he really seems like just an emotional wreck about some of this stuff. I don't know. So,
I mean,
anyways,
That'd
some
be how
people can't
cognitive
take
dissonance works.
constructive criticism. This is true.
what was
But
that?
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I said this is how cognitive dissonance do. I don't, but
Yeah,
Maya and I overtalk each other at a moment, so I don't know.
but you're
I mean, it
right.
happens, you know. But
It does.
yeah, apologists really get emotional when people correct them with facts. Like they don't know what to do with the anxiety. Um, I guess I don't know. Like I see this a lot. Oh, who's the guy that Erica's always debunking?
Which
Uh,
one?
I
Ken
know,
Ken,
right?
Ken
Um,
Hovind or
Donnie?
Donnie, yes.
Okay,
from
nailed it.
Standing for Truth?
Yes, that
That
guy.
guy?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
He's
Hmm.
doing better. He's doing
Is he?
better.
Hold on, Maya.
Then he
Maya.
at very first, yeah, like
Oh well,
his head
okay,
just
but
exploded. And now it's just like not
the
her
key
again.
problem, though, I mean, there's orders of magnitude that you can be wrong about. So it's sort of like if you were to look at the Dead Sea Scrolls
Hmm.
and think that this was like a recipe for rhubarb pie written in Klingon.
So maybe
It-
that's not quite the magnitude of how wrong inspiring philosophy is.
he's not that bad.
Not that bad. Sure.
This channel had like we cover the gamut. Okay, like at the bottom of the barrel, we have like
Mm-hmm.
Hans Wormhat. Up from that, like probably at like, but like probably in the bottom third. Like I feel like Roger is probably like the bottom third. He like defines like the barrier between like the bottom quarter maybe and like above
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Um, this channel, I feel like is actually much higher,
Probably.
but
Yeah. No, I think you're probably
Yeah, I
right
mean,
about
like
that.
who was this? Jackson Wheat, who accused
Oh
us
yeah.
of fucking with mentally ill people.
Oh
mm,
dear.
Yeah.
Really?
well,
Oh.
Hans Wernhat. He thought he
yeah.
legit thought he was mentally ill. And
I
I'm
don't think
like,
he,
I don't see it,
yeah.
honestly. I've there are people that I've bypassed because I was actually somebody who so I was on the line in February and somebody critiqued me that I wasn't altogether sure was with it. Like actually he called in
Yeah.
and then he did
Yeah.
and I wanted I was trying to impart a few words of encouragement and like maybe you can think about things differently, but I understood Shannon's inclination to want to get him off the line as soon as
Sure.
possible because
Yeah.
I
I think that she was having the same concern that I was probably having, that let's end this before it gets problematic. So like it's not like I
yeah.
don't see it, but
Yeah.
I think that people
I
like
don't
that are very different than people like Hans, which tends to me to be like the birds aren't real guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair.
But I do understand, like, Jackson, if he believed that I was showcasing somebody who was mentally unstable, he was right to call me out on it. Um, I spoke my
I
piece and, we agreed to disagree. So,
Hmm.
I've called out like when I there have been times when I've been in chat with on the atheist experience and
mhm.
they've had like a caller um that I was like I don't think this person conversation
It's
should
all
be
there.
is all
Yeah.
there. I don't think this
Yeah.
person should be the subject of an on-air conversation
Right.
because I really don't think that they are in touch with sort of fairly basic like aspects of reality.
Sure.
Hans Wormhat, like
Yeah.
like, and I can say a particular opinion that would go a long way to changing my mind if Hans Wormhat held it. If Hans Wormhat genuinely believed that kangaroos were fake, then I'd be like, have you just never met Australian people? But he doesn't. He holds like it. Everything about the kangaroo is something that he should think is fake, but he thinks they're real because there's just too damn many people who have seen kangaroos. But he thinks anacondas are fake. It's hilarious.
Well, I mean, and then he wrote out the
Bullshit.
animals
Bullshit.
are fake for as long as he could. And now he's moved on to other things because it's no longer getting him the views it used to. Which is like, you know,
See,
something
that
that you would expect
feels
from a grifter and not somebody who
that
was
feels like a grift, right?
right.
Yeah.
Whereas
Exactly.
like Roger's been going back to the exact same watering hole his entire life.
Right.
Roger, yeah, if he had asked me if Roger is all there, I'd been like, I don't think he's mentally unstable. I think he's just stupid, which I think is different. And I really do want to denounce that because one, he has 200,000 people that are following him, and he's
wild.
I think that like the claims that he's making, I think they need to be addressed. And regardless of whether or not whatever he's thinking, I think that he has too big of a following for it to just go unaddressed. And I'm not saying that, you know, Sir Sick doesn't address it and Logic doesn't address it and Dapper hasn't addressed it, but he's just gaining too many people too quickly for us to completely ignore it too.
You can't,
I'm not,
right? After
yeah,
a while, you just have to.
right. Hans, I can leave alone. He has like he's like had like 8,000. He's been stagnant.
Hans is one of the very rare people where when you go to their comment section, everybody's on our side.
Right. So we don't.
You understand?
Yeah.
He's the only person in that we've covered repeatedly that I think is like that. And I will say this also about Hans, and I think it's one of the he made the choice to not delete all those comments. He has chosen to allow those to remain on his channel, and he gets a lot of positive comments too. But so what I was exaggerating earlier, but like that is the one. He's sort of like Florida. Like the reason we all know about Florida Man is because Florida has really, really good public records transparency laws. They actually do that
one of the things
really,
they do
well.
yeah.
Wow.
And so it's very easy and fast and straightforward for any publication to just look up whatever a Florida man did last week. And the public justice system, I think it works a lot better when you have that, because the more eyes that are on cops and this is a different topic, sorry. But
no, yeah, I don't even know how we got on this topic, but I do want people to understand like there's a rhyme or a reason to what we do. Gaia doesn't get covered here as much as it should. And I do want to start doing that more often because it's getting between that spirit science and
well, I guess
I don't know, but there's just so much stuff that needs to be covered because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
So much nonsense, right?
And we do try to
who are we going to
like if we have somebody on, I want to showcase their talent, their skills, and like if I have a doctor here, then and on the off chance that somebody is going to try to channel strike me, I'm like, I have a PhD here who's speaking from the consensus of their community. We're talking about they're bringing peer-reviewed studies to the table. This is quality content. This is what you should have refuting the claims of this channel. It's not like we're just like watching it like commenting on a movie, you know.
Right.
You're not using the content as the content. You're using a reaction to the like that was very
You're refuting
unpersuasive.
you're refuting the claims that are made, which,
Yeah,
you know,
Right.
as
YouTube
opposed to just
actually
presenting the
is.
claim.
Yeah, no, like they have a high priority on refuting science misinformation, which is
Has
probably why they
has
haven't done
YouTube
anything to me.
ever? Yeah, I was about to say, like, YouTube
No,
has never
I've
caused a
never.
problem for this
There have been a
channel
couple
that I
of
know of.
like chats giving me videos like songs or whatever, and
Well, yeah,
YouTube has
songs are a
said,
different thing.
okay, you can't be monetized because the song is, but
We had
Yeah.
a
I've
lit
never had a
outro,
copyright claim or anything like that. Like they've been,
by the way.
Yeah, no, I've that's been my experience too, is that I don't get those unless
yeah.
I'm trying to use music from an Indiana
You're
Jones movie. But
and you're using it to like
That's a-
create like an environment and like evoke a feeling, which is exactly what the original music was supposed to do. Like you really
totally.
you're
Yeah.
like,
But
it's like
everyone needs
that's why
their
music is so much tougher.
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there have been a couple of channels that we covered that were like, if you use our video and it's not to make us look good, we're totally going to
Oh wow.
channel strike you. And I'm like, I'm still
Like Ray
waiting.
Comfort.
We've done
I
we've done
believe
Ray
that's. Did
Comfort
you
We
do
have
him?
done Ray.
Okay.
once.
We haven't done it for over a year.
Because I think that's his policy, isn't it?
Yeah, there's been a
AIG,
couple. There was one we did not too long ago with
Wondrium.
Dr. Huh?
Wondrium, I think.
Was that Wondrium?
Didn't we do a Wondrium video?
Oh God, who was it? Not Dr. Dan. Was it Dr. Dan?
It might have
Yeah,
been.
it was that Creation Mess. Yeah. It was like Creation Mess for kids. And they were like in their description, like in the about us, it's like we'll totally channel strike you. Like we'll do it.
In your description.
And I, I
awesome.
told Dr. Tapp, I'm like, all right, after every sentence, we're stopping, we're talking about it. And
Oh man.
yeah, like that I'm looking at it right now. Like I have nothing.
We all
on that
know about
video.
AIG. Like AIG
We haven't
has
done
Right.
AIG.
Yes.
to Dapper
Yes.
how many times? Dapper is our
That's right.
guest next week, by the way, just in case.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
done History Channel. I haven't done Joe Rogan, and I haven't done AIG, which I hear are like three of the big ones that love to channel strike people.
Yeah, they do.
Really?
But I think with like their claims, I've been able to at least get to from other sources to refute. I would love to refute ancient aliens, but
You just can't play any of their
we'd have to go
content, right?
I mean, you could do that via the Graham Hancock route.
Yeah. I need to get some Graham Hancock in here.
We should see if we can get Mini Minuteman on and do a Graham Hancock episode with Milo.
Okay.
That would be pretty epic.
That would be amazing.
That really would be.
Yeah.
But all right. Doc, do you have anything? Oh, Doc, I'm sorry. Vandy, do you have anything coming up this week?
What am I, not a doctor? I believe I have.
Who are we asking?
I mean, the BBH. There we go. Yeah, I'm not. I'm sorry. Anyway, I believe that I am this week because it is the second Thursday of the month. I should be appearing this Thursday on Skeptic Haven to talk with Dr. Ben Davis about some topic in physics. I don't even remember exactly which one. But it's always a great time. We talk for, like, the show ostensibly is an hour long. We always go over every time. Not that we do that here.
Never.
Oh God.
No.
Yeah.
Ever.
We were supposed to be done half an hour ago. We're
right.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But,
Dr. Kip has to eat.
We'll be talking about something. I don't know exactly what it is. Previous topics have been special relativity, nuclear power, just scenarios about the end of the world from like a physics lens. Dr. Ben Davis is a nuclear physicist, So I'm an atomic physicist. So we fight. It's great. And that is 5 p.m. Pacific on Thursday on Skeptic Haven's channel.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would happen
sorry.
if somebody ever got you and Dr. Ben and Jordan? Because Jordan from
Spirit Science.
No,
Spirit Science?
No, Reasons to Doubt. You know that
channel?
He's a physicist too, isn't he? Pretty sure he's a physicist
Is
as
he
well.
A physicist?
I think
he's definitely learned in like how materials react to
nuclear.
things like.
I think he does nuclear stuff.
I actually do not know. I don't know Jordan well enough to know. I know that Jordan has definitely fallen down the Shroud of Turin rabbit hole.
Oh,
and there's all sorts of fun science in the Shroud of Turin rabbit hole.
I don't think we need to debunk the Shroud of Turin, but like probably have a couple
we should.
People in the
Everyone
chat
else is.
Yeah, like if we get Jordan on, who would totally come on? Jordan would totally come on the show.
Totally, you guys should do that. That'd be fun. So, all right.
I wouldn't want to invoke any certain trolls, but it'd be fun to see which of my mods could time him, like ban him the quickest.
Who?
I'm pretty sure all of our mods hate Atangelo. And I've already said,
right.
You know what?
Yes.
I just normally like so my general rule is they have to ask permission to time somebody out for like the duration of the stream. The only time it's ever been done is like from me. Unless they're saying slurs or things like that, in which case again they get timed out for 24 hours. We convene, we agree that this can't be allowed. They get, and then they either me or Vandy would boot them permanently. I only have 2 people right now that are permanently banned. And the rule for being permanently banned is that you have to go to each of the mods, beg their forgiveness, and they have to come back to me. They have to agree that the person is allowed back, and they have a way higher tolerance for bullshit than I do. So the mods get to decide who gets to come back, and that's never been done yet. And I actually do agree with all of their decisions on that. Well, both of their decisions on that. However, I'm pretty sure if Jim Bob or Atangelo came in, that I wouldn't be able to stop them from banning them. And so I've just decided not to care.
It was Tim Bob, not Jim Bob.
Tim Bob's already banned. If Jim Bob comes in, or Atangelo, I don't know what the mods are going to do. I didn't see it. I'm not asking questions. I'm not unbanning. They'll let me know. They might let me know what they do. I might not notice. Who knows? But I'm not losing all my mods on Atangelo.
No.
Right now, just fuck it. Do whatever you want to do.
Every time I put Titan Uranus in timeout, I get yelled at. So I try not to mod people. I'm just saying.
So as of today's date, I haven't seen either of them. But I just, like I said, I've decided not to care. So that's and if Atangelo wants to be unbanned, he can beg forgiveness from all of them.
There is a way.
Good luck, bitch. So it is what it is. I don't have anything coming up this week. So we'll be back next week, I believe, is with Professor Parks, which will be a great stream, and I hope to see all of you back here then. Do you guys have anything to say before we get out of here?
Is Professor Parks next week, or is Dapper next week?
I thought you
said
Dapper
is not next week. No.
Oh, okay. Then I messed that up. Then I got my weeks confused. I think it is Professor Parks. Then you're right.
Dapper's in 2 weeks.
Hey, physics! Professor Parks is also a physics person.
Indeed. All right. So the only thing I have to say is vote and bring a friend. We'll see you next week.